Welcome to RNS Podcast. My name's Dylan.
And I'm Evan.
This is going to be one of the realest, nerdiest podcasts you could ever hear.
True.
Is that right?
Probably.
And this week, Evan, we're going to talk about...
yes. Not probably. There is no probably.
Yeah,
yes.
We're good salesmen, okay? And we're going to tell you the truth. We're going to tell you the stone cold facts. And this is the best real nerd podcast you can find.
And this week, we're going to tell you to do your job for your country.
Yeah, don't be a civilian. Be a citizen.
Be a citizen and click that sub button.
If you don't understand that epic reference...
You will by the end of this
We're going to break it down.
Yeah.
Okay? We're going to break it down. Evan, we're going to talk about Starship Troopers. This week was your choice.
It was.
Famously, RNS Podcast, we alternate weeks.
Yes, famously.
Famously.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah. That's a lyric from a song, but they say a word after that I can't say.
Oh. Oh, I also think that's just like a general saying.
Also just a phrase. But I think of that song every time. So I don't know if that's something that's wrong with me or if that's like a thing.
How can you not think about Biggie Smalls?
Yeah. If you don't know, now you know.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking about Biggie Smalls.
Yeah.
But yeah, Starship Troopers is a very cool, interesting movie. I feel like we're going to have quite a bit to say about it.
True.
And I think it kind of relates... It could relate back to a conversation that we've had a few times on this channel.
Oh, really?
About irony and satire.
Oh, really?
Maybe we'll get into that.
Did we? Did we have a conversation about that? I don't know.
Well, on a few occasions.
A bug sucked my brain out, so I can't really remember.
Yeah, Evan's actually brain dead right now.
Yeah.
And all the fucking nutrients has left his face.
Exactly.
Actually quite disturbing. But did you want to talk about anything before we talk about Starship Troopers?
Did anything interesting or exciting happen recently?
It's called Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, I'm sure that film was
Neither of us saw it.
Yeah, so I don't know. I have nothing to say about it.
From the spoilers, it sounds pretty bad, but yeah, I didn't really actually want to talk about it or nothing like that. Is there anything else cool? No, I don't think so.
No.
I probably would have jumped.
Cinema's dead.
Cinema's dead, and that's why every fucking episode we do, it's a very old movie.
True.
Yeah, because this movie is 1997, which is as old as us.
Oh yeah.
This movie's
We're
24 years
old, huh?
old. We are getting very old.
Or 25. It must be 25.
Yeah.
Unless it came out in November or December.
You're right. Me and Evan are both born at the end of the year here, so we're not quite 25 yet. But yeah, basically 25-year-old movie. As we tend to do.
True.
So I guess we'll get right into Starship Troopers. Do you have anything to say about Paul Verhoeven?
I like him. RoboCop.
Do you have any cool... actually, we saw RoboCop together.
Yeah, I think we actually did tell this story on the podcast, but you can retell it because...
Well, it's relevant.
It's relevant, yeah.
Well, I just wanted to mention, it was the first time I had seen the original RoboCop. I saw the remake with my mom, which was epic.
Yeah.
But the original...
So it holds a place in your heart.
It does. It has a little place in my heart.
Yeah.
And that's a very different movie, too.
Did you like his sleek black design?
Well, yeah, it was like Batman Begins.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Very original as well.
Very original.
Yeah.
I agree.
But no, the original RoboCop, I had a great time when I saw it in the theater with you. And it looked beautiful on the screen. So I've seen 2 of his movies now, and I think that's it. Actually, I've seen some of Showgirls, but not enough to really like speak on it or anything like that. But
Total Recall, that's a good movie.
Which one is that?
With Arnold Schwarzenegger. Where they're like on Mars. He's like, he's like living someone else's life or whatever. He forgot who he really was.
Yeah,
I have not seen it in a long time, since like middle school. But I did enjoy it. I need to revisit that sometime soon. I feel like I would appreciate it more as an adult.
People say Basic Instinct is good, right?
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Michael Douglas.
Very interesting.
Michael Douglas and Sharon Stone, I believe.
He has an interesting career. The good old Paul.
Yeah. Well, this film is very similar to RoboCop, I would say, in tone.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Yeah.
In style.
In substance.
Perhaps. Yeah, a little bit. Just kind of a different institution.
Yeah.
Just making fun of the...
Just like well, they say that the police have it are the fourth unsung branch of the military.
Oh, do they really say that?
I think so.
Probably.
There's a joke about... The only reason I know is because there's a joke about that in Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Oh.
Because he's like, we're the fifth one.
The Mall Cops?
Yeah, the Mall Cops are the fifth
okay.
you know,
yeah.
branch of the military. But anyways, back to...
The firefighters are number 6.
Well, firefighters are fucking pussies compared to Mall Cops.
Oh, of course.
Compared to...
That's why I said they're number 6.
Compared to Paul Blart.
Yeah, they're number 6.
They're about as good as like a teacher or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, Should I summarize the movie very quickly?
Sure.
A synopsis?
Yeah, sure.
So Starship Troopers is, it kind of speaks for itself, I guess. You can kind of guess what it's about. Kids in school
yeah.
that
actually like 30.
they're very old. There's some weird stuff going on with that, but some very attractive all across the board, very attractive young people.
That's true.
Which I think that plays into an interpretation of the movie.
I would agree with that.
Most people could speak on.
I would agree with that.
So they're all very attractive kids that basically get they join the military, don't they? And they end up in various places.
They do
across the military. And they want to, they fight some dirty freaking bugs, and they kill the bugs. The only good bug is a dead bug, Evan.
Yeah, that is said in the film.
That is also the tagline of the movie.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
How about that?
Is it really the tagline?
It is on Letterboxd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Well, I don't know. Where do you want to start with this one, Evan? Where do you want to start?
I liked it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I think we should probably start with the interpretation of the movie.
Well, obviously the whole movie kind of like, it's like you're watching like a propaganda film, but it's like, taken to this like extreme, but it being like science fiction and set in the future and whatnot. You know what I mean? So obviously it's like satirizing. Is that a word? Satirizing?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Satirizing the U.S. military. I think most people agree on that interpretation.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this to you while we were watching it. If I was like 14 and I saw this, I would not. And, well, the thing is, when I was 14, I was already watching like a bunch of movie reviewers and stuff, so they told me like this movie's making fun of the military. Yeah. It's not like, and I was
I feel like some people probably don't. I feel like there are a lot of people who are probably just like, yeah, that's the badass science fiction movie where they kill bugs.
From what I understand, I haven't looked into this recently, but from what I remember, that was the consensus at the time, was people were just like, okay, that was epic, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
And I think I definitely, if I didn't watch those videos about this movie and I had seen this movie back then, like with no context or whatever, I definitely would be like
yeah, me too.
Like, okay, it's like a Halo movie or something, like whatever.
I'd be like, yeah, it's the badass movie where they kill bugs.
Because they don't. The thing about the movie, there's so many people that are like nowadays that are like, how could anyone see this as a fucking regular movie? This is so obviously a satire. They don't tip their hand. They never tip their hand.
What do you mean by that?
There's never a moment where they they turn around and it's made very apparent to the audience that these are the bad guys.
Or
for
sure.
They're doing anything wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
That never happens.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I wouldn't say it's subtle though.
I wouldn't say it's
subtle. But I agree with what your point though. Yeah.
But most people are stupid.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Yeah. So if you put Halo in front of them, they're gonna be like, okay, it's Halo. There's no need to, think that deeply about every single thing you watch, because everything you watch for the most part is fucking stupid.
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
90% of things that come out in the theater is just bullshit that you don't have to think about.
That is true.
But on this show, we like to dig a little deeper.
That's true.
We like to find these little fucking hidden gems that will nutrient your brain.
True.
Yeah.
Like Black Adam.
Yeah, like Black Adam. Such as Black Adam. That's a badass fucking movie too. But if you really think about it, it's really about neoliberalism.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll have to see that for yourself.
Pierce Brosnan was a stand-in for Bill Clinton.
What?
He was a stand-in for Bill Clinton.
Oh, Bill Clinton. So, Starship Troopers, it always had this kind of this image for me as like a smart movie, and I guess it is, and I do appreciate kind of what I was talking about, like it not tipping its hand.
Yeah, I like that too. Because like I said, when you watch it, it's just like it's like you're watching like a ridiculous propaganda movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I like that. It works with the tone of it.
It's genuinely like one of those, like, have you ever seen those like North Korean movies?
Like
action
I haven't
movies?
I haven't seen them.
But you know about
them.
them.
Yeah.
It's a lot like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's American movies like that.
Or like no, I'm gonna say like you know, like in like the shit they're watching in Captain America 1, like the World War II like American propaganda movies like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm sure there's real world. I'm sure there's plenty of real world examples of like.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know, like MASH. I haven't seen MASH. But
I was like, is that? I don't know.
I don't know. I have never seen anything of MASH. Every time I saw on the TV guide that it was coming up, I would change the channel.
Yeah, I think most people from our generation, that's like the joke about MASH. It's like, oh, I saw it gonna come on and I changed the channel.
Yeah, it's like worse.
But old people loved it.
That's worse than like when it says paid programming.
Yeah, the old people loved it.
They do.
Yeah.
That's like every old guy's favorite show.
Yeah, so I mean, must have had something in there.
Yeah, maybe.
Must have something.
But I never watched any of that type of stuff. I don't like war movies. So I can't compare it to.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of war movies either. Because I think we did see 1917 together. I liked that movie.
But yeah, that movie's definitely not like a propaganda movie.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
It's like a horrors of war kind of movie.
I don't mean.
You were just saying in general.
Yeah. Like
you've seen
movies.
some war movies. Yeah. But I think this probably is playing off like a certain period of time, maybe the 60s.
Yeah. Yeah, probably, and also probably like the Gulf War and stuff like that. I think that was going on.
Because the 70s, at that point, a lot of people were on board with like, okay, war is evil.
Yeah.
But I think they still had some momentum off of World War II, where it was like, well, keep on fighting.
Yeah.
Keep on fighting, you know. And obviously, propaganda is like super heavy in the actual World War II era and shit. But yeah, I just haven't seen much to compare it to. That's why the North Korea thing comes to mind, because it's like these John Wick kind of inspired action movies, but like at the heart of it, they're like, yeah, Americans are dogs.
Yeah.
And you have to kill them indiscriminately.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just plays like that the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we should start to unpack some specifics, Evan.
Yeah.
Well, so we mentioned the characters, right?
Mm.
The characters are very like. Probably the most handsome leading man in the world.
Johnny Rico.
And two of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen are in love with him as well.
They are both in love with him.
And Neil Patrick
Harris.
He's a handsome guy.
He is a handsome guy. And he dresses like a Nazi. As you mentioned in, I think it was Hard Boiled where you mentioned.
Yeah, that's like one of the only things I knew about the movie is I knew like the last thing that happens at the end. I knew there's like insane violence. I knew it's like satire.
Yeah.
And I knew that Neil Patrick Harris is like the one that ends up being like a super high ranking officer guy, and he dresses like a Nazi.
And dressed like a Nazi he does.
Oh sure, he sure does. And he looks good doing it.
Yeah, he did. Because it's Neil Patrick Harris.
You can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know. That sounds like something like a soccer mom would say, like, oh, even dressed as a Nazi, Neil Patrick Harris, he looked great. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like someone who went to like see the fucking like plays he was in.
Yeah.
He won Tony Awards for and shit.
I could definitely
even
see.
As a Nazi, he's fabulous.
That would be on definitely be on some like play review website. I could see that. But true nonetheless.
Yeah.
True nonetheless. And good for him for being able to touch that big bug prop at the end. Cause I couldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that. So good for him. He's a great actor.
Well, yeah. He probably got a decent paycheck for that.
Maybe.
They were like, oh, Doogie Howser. They said, put Doogie in that movie.
What do you think Neil Patrick Harris' most iconic role is? Barney?
At this point, I would say so.
Barney?
Yeah. But at one point, he went Doogie Howser.
I think when he was in Harold and Kumar, it was probably that for a while.
I don't know if I'd say that over Doogie Howser, but maybe. I don't know. I didn't really grow up in the Doogie Howser era, so,
that did sweep the nation.
That was before my time.
It did sweep the nation.
Yeah, I mean, possibly.
But yeah, the actors, the characters, they're all very beautiful, gorgeous Barbie Ken doll looking people. Yeah. And kind of speaks to the whole satire thing.
I would say,
of course,
so,
you would want to have.
Yeah, it's like, oh look, all these beautiful people.
The most
are
beautiful,
in the
gorgeous, perfect individuals. And one thing I mentioned off the top when we were watching it is this kind of reminded me of Family Ties.
I haven't seen that. So.
Basically the gimmick of it's a sitcom. If you don't know, it's a Michael J. Fox. It's how he got like super famous at first.
It's like Doogie Howser before Barney.
What?
It's like Doogie Howser before Barney.
Oh,
Family Ties before Marty McFly.
I was thinking of the dinosaur, but yeah. So that was his original breakout role as Alex P. Keaton.
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah, it sure is. And basically the gimmick of that show is the parents are like hippies. It takes place in the 80s. They were like hippies when they were young. And now they have this kid that's like a hardcore Republican. So that kind of reminds me of
Do they actually say that there? He's a Republican. I do they actually say that?
I'm in the show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I'm not just asking. Like, do they actually say that?
He is like hard political, like overt political in the show.
He's like, I love Reagan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's like, Dad, why can't you be more like Ronald Reagan?
That's an interesting little twist,
It's funny.
It's like what you said about the thing about the strange thing about the Johnsons, that kind of opposite of nature thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because you expect the kids will be more liberal.
Yeah.
But I think this is kind of true to life too, is that like it just skips a generation. You know what I mean? Like if one if your dad's generation is super utilitarian or whatever, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna not want to be that. So you're going to be a little rebellious or whatever.
That makes sense.
And I think the same thing is happening in Starship Troopers. And it's like played up less than fucking Family Ties, obviously. But, you have the parents that are like, don't go to be at fucking war. Like, you're fucking stupid. And then he's like, no, I have to do it for my country.
Well, I think it's also because they wanted him to go to Harvard. I think it's like that, but I also think it's possibly a class thing. Because I think they mentioned, like, he comes from a well-off family. But there's another kid who's there. He's like, he wanted to go to Harvard also, but he couldn't afford it, so he had to join the military.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think there's a bit of maybe a class thing going on there as well.
Oh, yeah. But so, he also, like, I don't think Harvard was really an option for him either, because he, like, failed his whole thing.
Oh, yeah, but I'm just saying his parents were like, oh, no, we want you to go to Harvard. But he's like, no, I want to join the military. And then the other kid is like, oh, I want to go to Harvard, but I can't, so I'm joining the military. So you know what I mean? So I feel like that's maybe part of it, of what could be going on there. Maybe a little, poor people had to go fight in wars, I don't know.
That doesn't happen in real life.
Oh, no.
No, that doesn't happen in real life. Thankfully.
Yeah.
No, it's very disturbing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have the, it's like, it is kind of funny. It's not like laugh out loud funny necessarily, but you have all the kids, like, the coolest thing you can do is join the military. Yeah. And it's like a rebellious act against your parents and everything. Like, that's something that would actually be a good, like, tactic to get kids to think it's cool. It's like, oh, your parents don't want you doing this, but it's good. You all want it.
Yeah.
All your friends want it. So
that is some, like, World War II shit, right?
That's already cool. Well, I don't think so. But I think it's, like, it makes sense in, like, a future scenario to, like, romanticize the military in that way and make it, like, oh, your parents don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good way to get a kid to do something.
Yeah.
And that's pretty early in the movie, and it's already, like, pretty stacked on, like, you have the characters poised that way. You have, like, him rebelling against his parents already. And then what happens, Evan?
And then what happens? Oh, he joins.
Oh, he joins the military.
Right? He joins.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we didn't. Well, you did mention that, but, like, the two girls are in love with him.
Oh, yeah.
Denise Richards' character, and I don't know the name of the other actress.
Beautiful McGee.
Yeah, Beautiful McGee, of course.
No, she is cool. I don't want to disrespect her. I'm sorry. So name? Denise Richards and Dina Meyer.
Dina Meyer
plays Diz.
The
curly head one.
Classic Diz.
I like
famous Diz.
Yeah.
And yeah, they have, like, the different branches of the military. So she wants to be, like, a pilot. Denise Richards' character.
They call it Carmen. Different stuff than real life America right now. But
it's not like the Air Force. They don't call it that.
Yeah, like his current girlfriend joins the Air Force. He joins, like, the
standard military.
The regular, whatever, yeah.
I guess it's not the military.
Infantry, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Definitely called it in the movie, the infantry.
Oh, yeah. And then Neil Patrick Harris becomes like immediately gets put into like a higher ranking position.
Yeah.
And Neil Patrick Harris, I don't think we mentioned, is like his best friend.
Yeah, yeah.
So they get split up into completely different.
Yeah,
branches.
he's like I guess like like they have like military engineers. It's something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like some high ranking like.
Yeah, he becomes like a yeah, exactly. And then there's weird thing going on with the character, and just in general, they don't really explain this too much, but I get maybe it has something to do with like human evolution. But like some people in the world are like psychic.
Yeah.
And Neil Patrick Harris is one of them. I don't really know what to make too much of that, but like I said, it does take place in the future.
That's why I asked you at one point. I was like, "Is this is this based on a book or not?" Because that feels like super underdeveloped. And I guess
it could be, but I don't know for sure. Let me look.
Because they set it up at the beginning, and then it pays off during like the climax. But other than that, it's not really a factor.
Yeah, that's why it's like it's a very small thing in the movie. Let's see. Yeah, it is based off of a book. 1959 novel. Yeah, it is based off a book. Whether that's a big part of the book or not, I'm not sure. But
I mean, it's cleverly used for what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
They use it. Okay. It's not distracting or nothing like that.
No.
I guess it's kind of implied that like really smart people can do it.
Yeah, but there's also like the physical, because you see them doing some crazy shit, like the flips and stuff like that he does. Like they jump like 10 feet in the air. You see that a few times. Them doing like some crazy flips and shit.
Well, maybe they're on Mars or something.
But no, even before that, it's when he plays the football game. You see him
he does do that.
Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. I feel like probably just like human evolution.
Maybe they have like pencil strings like around their hamstrings or something like that.
Yeah.
Like pencil. What are they, like mechanical pencil springs?
Yeah, that's what they have.
Right.
They're wearing shoes with springs in them.
Oh, they have moon boots.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And Heelys.
But I thought that was interesting. But anyways, yeah, so that's how they get like divided up, and then
well, you mind if I mention one thing?
Yeah.
As well. That kind of like, since I had that idea about the ending for so long, like I had time to think about it, and I kind of was thinking about it as I was watching the movie. I was thinking, since like the ending is like him using the psychic thing to like kind of communicate with a creature that like he could not normally like talk to.
Yeah.
So it feels almost like there's some kind of like perversion of like some divine intervention. I don't know if that makes sense, but like evolution wants you to be able to get along with the bugs, but you're like perverting it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, that makes sense. Yeah. That's it. I didn't really think about it like that, but
I think it's just because I've had the misconception of the ending for so long. But I always assumed I might be wrong about how I thought the ending, like what the ending meant, before I'd actually seen it. Because this is always like talked about as like a dour kind of movie. So I was like, it can't be like a happy ending, but it seems like it is. But I had to watch it for myself, which I'm glad I did. But.
Yeah. Well, it's a happy ending from like the perspective of the characters. Yeah.
Like is it like a world government? Or is it the United States? I think it might be a world government thing.
It could be. They don't really get into it.
No.
Like the politics of the world or anyways. Yeah. But they do mention like, we're, it's like, it's not like, we're doing this for the U.S. It's like, we're doing it for the human species.
Yeah, they always say we're doing it for the human race and shit like that, yeah.
Instead of it being like countries or whatever. But yeah, they get divided up and they join the military. And, of course, the one girl also joins infantry with, Johnny Rico, the girl who kind of...
What a name.
Yeah, it is a cool name.
What a name.
The woman who's in love with him, but he has no affection.
And by the way, if you weren't sold already, you do get to see her naked.
You do.
You get to see her topless 2 times.
You do.
So, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they all shower together.
Oh, yeah.
At one point.
So, yeah, I kind of have a thought about that as well.
Okay.
But I guess we can get into that in a little bit.
And yeah, I think when you join the military and grow up and whatnot, things kind of fall apart between him and his other girlfriend because she's like, I want to take the piloting thing as a career, and of course she's kind of interested in another guy.
That evil harlot.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's not evil. I think it's like obviously like, oh, this long distance relationship where I'm never gonna see you and we don't share the same dream.
It is weird because I feel like they're implied to have aged throughout the movie like 10 years or so.
No, it's only a year. Cause remember the beginning, it's like one year earlier.
Oh.
Yeah.
But what about the very, very ending?
I don't think it's that long after, because they had that war or whatever. I don't think it's that long.
Oh.
But I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know.
But from the beginning of the movie to the war, it's only been a year. Yeah, because at the beginning you get like a goofy like, kind of like dystopian like news feed thing going on, kind of like RoboCop. That's like the same way how RoboCop starts. Another kind of stylistic similarity between those two films. And at that point, it's like, oh, the war begun, and they're showing it, like you're watching fucking CNN or some shit reporting the Iraq War. You know what I mean? But yeah, him and his Denise Richard girlfriend, she's like, yeah, I want to be a pilot, and also she has a thing for this other guy, kind of. You don't really see anything happen between them.
Yeah, I think that's just to give like a... if that character didn't exist, it would just feel less dramatic.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one thing that's interesting too about this movie, is I think it is well executed in the sense of like, I think the characters are genuinely good. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like, you would assume, for the most part, if it's a parody or a satire, the characters are going to be hollow to, serve the message of the movie. Yeah. But and I think that's maybe why some people misinterpret this movie, because I genuinely like the characters, and it's interesting what happens to them.
Well, they're pretty normal people. You know what I mean? It's just like, even if like the U.S. military is evil, the soldiers are kind of just normal people. It's more the institution that's like evil, and you kind of see that more with like Neil Patrick Harris's character towards the end.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's also the element of like, you see the main character Johnny. I guess people call him Johnny
Rico.
The whole movie.
They call him Rico.
They do call him Rico.
Yeah.
But you see him throughout the movie. He kind of gets promoted a few times.
Yeah.
And he starts to act like his former higher ups and shit like that, and
he becomes a bit more cold.
He becomes more cold, but he also what's the word? He's oh man, I lost it. What was it? Like he there's this sentiment about you'll you can have this job until we find someone better or you die.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like poised as a joke, but it's not.
Yeah. Because it happens multiple times.
Yeah, and that's partially why he gets
promoted
so much, is because they keep dying. I think two deaths out of like 3 promotions.
Yeah.
Or like why he's promoted.
Yeah. And the teacher who initially kind of gets him when he's like in high school or whatever, who gets him interested in the military, you see later, he's in it, and he's just like, he's a completely cold bastard. You know what I mean? And he's like missing an arm and whatnot.
He seems like kind of a nice guy though.
Well, I just mean like the way he like just like kills that one dude with like no remorse. The dude who's part of the infantry who gets snatched up by the bug.
Yeah.
He just shoots him like it's nothing. You know what I mean?
But I don't know if that's wrong.
Well, I'm not saying it's wrong, but the point was that, like how John becomes, it's like they start to become kind of emotionless.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I know
what I mean. Yeah. It's like it doesn't even faze him. I'm not saying that, putting the guy with misery is wrong. No. But, it doesn't even faze him. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of speaks to the point about him. As he gets, he kind of takes his role later. He becomes the same way. So.
Yeah, and he like parrots all the same stuff.
To exactly.
His, soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just become kind of a mindless killer in the system. You know what I mean? So, I don't know.
It's a twisted fucking game, Evan.
Yeah, and it's enemy bad.
It's a twisted fucking game.
Yeah, and they do mention because we don't have to break down the specific plot points, but like, anyways, they all kind of become what's the word, like, more invested in their sections of the military, like the three main characters. Well, I guess Neil Patrick Harris isn't really one of the main characters, because you see him like at the beginning and then you see him towards the end. Yeah. But they all become like invested in what they're doing, and he mentions at the beginning, he's like, yeah, we'll probably never see each other again. So I don't know, and we'll be like so distant from each other when they first fly off to the military.
And it's interesting too that like Neil Patrick Harris, like towards the end, even seems like the most what's the word, detached.
Yeah
He definitely seems like the most detached by the end, and we've only seen him like one other time.
Yeah.
But then Johnny kind of, they seem on the same wavelength.
Yeah, but it's like in a different way. You know what I mean? It's like he is more like, if this kind of feels true to life to like the actual military, it's like kind of for Johnny, it's kind of like in a macho-esque way. You know what I mean? And then Neil Patrick Harris, it's like evil scientist kind of way. So I don't know. And she doesn't become like too crazy.
Not she. That's an interesting thing too. Is like she kind of doesn't do anything.
Yeah, she's just a pilot.
Like she kind of generically becomes a better pilot.
Yeah,
and like she already was a good pilot.
Yeah,
but she's kind of just the love interest.
Yeah. So yeah, she is not written so great. They could have done definitely a more interesting.
But I
thing
think
with her.
It also makes what's her name, Diz. I don't remember.
Oh, it does make her better.
It makes her more interesting.
Yeah, because she joins the military, and then of course they kind of strike up a thing with each other. That's interesting, their relationship, because he kind of does it just because he can't have the other girl, and I don't think he like actually like loved her or anything like that, because she says it, she's like, oh, I loved you, and it kind of mirrors the moment earlier when he says it to Denise Richards.
You have to say it back.
Yeah, but she didn't make him say it back, so she was a little bit nicer.
Well, I think she had like accepted her death already.
Well, no, that was before.
Not literally, but I mean.
No,
like,
she said it when they like first have sex with each other.
But I'm kind of just joking about the fact that like, I think both of them by that point are like, okay, we could die like at any time, so like who cares? Like, if this relationship means anything.
Yeah.
That might be looking too deep into it, but.
Well, she does say it though. She does say, "I love you, Dan," and of course he says nothing.
He said, "Get under the sheets, bitch."
In the grand scheme of the movie, I don't know really what to make of that, if anything at all. But
I think a lot of that, the kind of like drama stuff. I don't know. It's pretty interesting to me because, like I said, I think it is well done. Like,
yeah, me too. I mean, I agree. Yeah, just
on its own, I think it's interesting. So the fact that
it feels very real.
Yeah,
we're in a movie where things are completely like kind of I don't know if elevated is the right word. Oh, elevated horror. Have you seen the meme about that? Okay, never mind.
Explain the joke.
Google it. Just Google elevated horror.
Come on, son.
Well, no, it's like, there's like...
You can't bring it up and not explain it.
There's just like a stupid argument about like, oh, elevated horror.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah,
was it from a tweet or something?
Well, I saw it on Twitter, so I don't know if it was like one specific
It was probably from
tweet.
a review or so. I think I did see that because I think it was about Jordan Peele.
I wouldn't be surprised if it started with something like that.
Like when it comes to elevated horror, it's like, yeah, I've seen that. Okay. Yeah, there's no such thing as elevated anything. It's retarded. You can't say retarded, but
I guess, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, I think I get the idea. I just don't want to bring it up. And
just when I said that word, I thought about that.
Yeah, it's funny though. But we were talking about like kind of the teenager drama aspect.
Yeah, it does feel very real. We're in a movie where everything is not so real.
But I guess
it's, not that it's not real. It's like extreme.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. I guess the really interesting thing about it to me is like I don't want to say it's wasted here, but it feels like built up for something else. Like it feels like it could stand on its own. So
yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's weird because the first half of the movie and the second half almost feel like completely different movies.
Yeah.
Like, when they're like in school and then first getting in the military and whatnot, and then when the war starts, they do feel very different.
But it kind of, maybe it's trying to get at, like, you know, how these kids are, you know, in any country really, are like fed this idea of, you know, patriotism and nationalism and shit like that, and then they actually see war and it's fucking horrible. But in, you know, of course, in this story they kind of persevere anyway.
Yeah.
But in real life, you know, ain't that easy.
That's true.
Is that so, Evan?
That's true. I wasn't in the military, but, you know, I think I could take the military.
My father.
I think I could easily be in the military. That wouldn't faze me.
Well, I think you would dove it.
Yeah, I would dove.
I think you would dove.
Yeah, so, you know, things like that don't really faze me, but you know, there are some people out there who are weaker-minded.
There are probably some weaker-minded people.
You know, so, I watched a bunch of Andrew Tate videos, and so, I know, like, I could easily take that. I just need a strong mind. Don't laugh. It's not funny.
Yeah, you just need, like, when you ever start jerking off and you think to yourself, I am wasting these 3 minutes.
Do push-ups.
Get on the ground and do some fucking sit-ups.
Was that genius advice? That sounds like something that would be in this movie.
Yeah.
Kind of disturbing.
I could see, like, the Hank character saying that. Yeah, Hank, Breaking Bad Hank is in this.
He is. He's also in,
No disrespect, I don't know his name, but...
It's what is it? Dean Norris?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, it is. I think it's Dean Norris.
Yeah. He was also in Total Recall, so...
Oh.
Yeah.
They worked favorite of before. Paul Verhoeven.
I suppose. I wonder if you like Breaking Bad.
They should do something together new.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Is he alive?
Paul Verhoeven? Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Do you think you watched Breaking Bad?
Yeah. Breaking Bad has a bit of a RoboCop Starship Troopers vibe.
A little bit. I can see that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
In that they're both totally badass and are definitely promoting the main character's lifestyle.
They're badass. I want tattoos of them. I want a fucking action figure of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would agree with that.
I made Lego Ideas projects of both of them.
Yeah.
You know, very similar.
But yeah, so eventually the war with the bugs starts, and it's like...
Well, do you want to talk about the training, though?
Yeah.
Because there was that one nutty part.
Well, there are multiple nutty parts.
Well, there's you know what I'm talking about, though. There's that one really nutty part in the training.
No, I don't know which specific.
Before they get to the bugs, the training.
But which part?
The part where they fucking shoot the guy's head off.
Oh, I thought you might have meant, like, the knife in the hand. Like, there's a few nutty things that happen.
But blowing the guy's head off is pretty good.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Well, there's the part where...
No, literally, though, I was thinking the knife in the hand when you said that. I was like, that was pretty nutty. That's what I was thinking.
But I did, like, scream out loud when they got shot the other guy in the head.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess, like, when you say nutty, it's like, I think it was something a little goofier.
Right, okay. That was pretty goofy.
Yeah.
But I kind of liked that moment.
No, I liked it, too.
Because he's like, they can't press a button if you throw a knife in their hand. And he's right.
Yeah, he is right. It was Clancy Brown, Mr. Krabs.
But yeah, Mr. Krabs. So Mr. Krabs is like their instructor.
Yeah.
And he has something later too that's kind of interesting.
At the end.
Yeah, but Mr. Krabs is like their instructor, and the first thing he does is, like, you know, he's walking around, like, putting them in. He's like, put your chin up, and, like, smacks them with the baton. And then, like, one kid, like, he's like, which of you could knock me down? He doesn't sound like that, but he says, which of you could knock me down? And then one of them's like, me, sir. Like, I was like, I hope so, sir. Some shit. And then one of them goes up to him, and he fucking immediately breaks his arm. Like, you know, Mr. Krabs, like, the instructor guy, he breaks his arm, like, immediately. And then you can see, like, you can't see the bone sticking out, but you can see the bone, like, sticking out, like, under his sleeve, under his shirt. It's fucking nasty. And then later, there's a similar thing where they're doing a knife throwing exercise. And one of them is like, well, this sucks. Like, why do we have to do this? And he's like, put your hand on the wall.
Yeah, because he says, like, you know, all we do, we're fighting with nukes, and you just need to press a button. That's what he says. Yeah. Yeah, he tells him to put his hand on the wall.
He says, put your hand on the wall. And then he, he does, and then he throws the knife directly into his fucking artery on his hand. And yeah, he's like, I can't press no buttons if we got a knife in it. So... that was pretty badass. So those are the two of the nutty parts in the training that you might be thinking of. But the one that I was thinking of was they're doing an a more intense training exercise.
Yeah. And he becomes a leader of his squad at this point.
Right, Johnny, kind of our main character.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess, our main character. Yeah. And he's, basically they're just running through a field of those, like, pop-up, like, wild gunman, you know?
Yeah.
Like, light gun game, like, for the NES, that type of thing. But they're, like, running through it. Or, like, Men in Black, that one Men in Black scene.
I didn't see Men in Black.
You've never seen the first Men in Black?
No. Never had any interest.
That is ridiculous.
Never had any interest.
As Rick Sanchez would say, that's ridiculous.
Does he say that?
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, so they're running through the little thing, the shooting gallery, and I don't think it can kill them, but it can hurt them.
Yeah.
You know, like the enemy little targets, they can shoot back and hurt them.
But they have legit bullets.
And they have actual guns.
Yeah.
And one of the guys, like, helmet's, like, not fitting, and then he says, well, we're going to have to fix that so we can win the exercise, and he takes the helmet off to try and fix it. And
Johnny takes his
Johnny takes his helmet, so gets him to take his helmet off, whatever. And then, fucking one of the other soldiers
gets hit by one of the lasers.
Like the girl.
Yeah, she gets hit by, like, one of the lasers.
Oh, that's what happens. Yeah, she gets hit by one of the dummies' lasers, and then her, she's shooting, and it continues shooting when she, like, gets shot by it, and it winds up shooting him in the brain.
Yeah.
And that part made me scream.
Yeah.
Right?
You did. That was a little like you good, Dylan?
Why?
I don't know. I never had, like, extremely visceral reactions like that when watching them.
Well, I was having fun. I was having a bit of fun with my friend. But also, it was just shocking. I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
I figured, like, if anything in the movie happened like that, I would have seen it before. But no, I didn't.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, it's just fucked up. Like, you're in training and you're like, your teammate shoots you in the fucking brain on accident. It's fucking scary. And now I know how Alec Baldwin felt, you know what I'm saying? Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that alleged, I guess?
I don't know if it's still going on or not. Let's be safe, I guess. But yeah, that was super fucked up. You have any cool thoughts on that?
It's fucked up.
Yeah, super fucked up.
Probably shouldn't take your helmet off in the middle of that shit.
But yeah, and then it's crazy that, like, that probably is not necessary, like, for a training exercise. Like, that they have live rounds. Because we see previously they were using little laser tag games.
Yeah, when they're shooting each other. Yeah.
And you can't kill people with those. But for some reason they're using real guns.
Yeah, I guess the laser don't break the targets that they're shooting at or whatever.
Use different targets.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, they do that after the exercise where they're kind of laser tagging each other. I feel like the laser tag exercise is way more effective than, like, them running up a hill with, like, wild gunman targets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, maybe not, because, that seems like more their approach when they're fighting the bugs later.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a squad thing.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was like a solo thing.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't even a solo thing. They were playing Capture the Flag.
It was a team.
Yeah, they were playing
Capture the Flag game, but it was like you're not going to be shooting at another guy with a gun. You're going to be, like, trying to all shoot down, like, one thing.
Yeah.
So I guess makes sense, but the way it's kind of used as like a character moment for Johnny, that might be some commentary, you know.
What do you mean? Explain.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter so much that, an innocent man was shot in the brain, and then that girl was held responsible and forced to leave, and then he's like, this is my cross to bear.
Yeah. Oh, they fucking whip him after that.
And then,
they give him an administrative punishment.
Which I think that might further my point, you know? You know what I mean? Because he's, like, made a martyr of something that he really didn't have much of a hand in, I guess. I mean, it is, like, you could see it as his fault as, like, as a military, like, commanding officer, but at the same time, it's, like, there's so much dramatic weight that people in those type of positions put on themselves. Yeah. I think that's kind of maybe what it's getting at.
Yeah.
Because then, like I said, the next scene, he's, like, a martyr, and he's, like, crucified and being whipped. And,
that was ridiculous.
So that was very funny.
Yeah, kind of being punished for shit that, like, the system put him in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I love to hear that.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah.
And then the training. There's not a ton to say about the training. I mean, it's over the top. It's a bit silly.
Yeah.
And what else can you expect?
Not much, I guess.
What else can you do?
Not much.
So then, at this point, he's about to quit. Or what makes him almost quit?
It's because of that, he's about to quit, and he talks to his parents.
But then he gets whipped.
Yeah, and he's gonna leave after that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you are right. Oh no, the girl breaks up with him. Is that it? Or was that before?
I thought that was before.
I don't know.
But either way, we mentioned that it's a culmination.
It's a mixture of those two things.
It's a culmination. Because
he joined the army because he wanted to go with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then he also wanted to not kill people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he mentions that when he's packing up because he's like, oh well, my girlfriend broke up with me and then I got like my teammate killed.
Yeah.
And like so obviously I'm not a cut out for it. And then after that, his parents are killed by the bugs.
Yeah.
Which I think was maybe caused by the girlfriend, but
no, I don't think it was.
Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you know what? You watch the movie for yourself and you let us know what you.
I don't know how it could be caused by her. I think it was something that the brain did.
But they say on the news that something was dislodged from an asteroid and like came down, and because the bugs shoot asteroids into space.
Yeah.
And then the girl was trying to avoid one and hit it.
Yeah.
And like broke stuff off. And they were like, oh, stuff broke off from an asteroid and landed on fucking Earth or whatever. Yeah. And like wherever he lived. So I think it was maybe inadvertently her, but I don't know.
I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. But anyways, but they mentioned very briefly though in that news section though, it's like, or maybe it's a little bit later, but it's it's small, but they were like, oh, this might have, like, did we provoke this? Because, like, oh, we were messing around on their fucking planet. And then, I don't know if I should bring this up or not, but when I was watching it, just because obviously the subject matter of the movie, and then seeing the big attack that happens, which lead to a giant, like, war where they go on the planet, I was like, oh, this kind of reminiscent of, like, 9/11.
And this came out in 1997. How fascinating.
Well, it's a universal tale. It's a timeless tale.
It is.
Yeah, so
it is. You
fuck around, they rebel, and then all of a sudden,
now we're the victims and we have to fight back.
Yeah.
So, I think the message of all this is really, stay out of other people's business.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mind your own business.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
It's a good takeaway.
But yeah, that's like very, they don't, because like you said, this movie doesn't beat you over the head with like the message. And
like you said earlier, they don't get into the politics a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a little bit here and there, like you just mentioned, where they're on the news, like, oh, did we provoke this, like, real quick? But there's not much of anything.
Yeah. And that, I think also maybe that kind of speaks to just our media. Our media is usually very pro-war. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not going to often give like dissenting voices much of a chance. So, you can kind of read into it that way as well. So, yeah, that's interesting.
It is interesting. Because the whole movie is like so divorced from politics, but like war is like half of politics.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like it is, but it isn't at all. It is a very political movie, but it's not like. What did I say that it wasn't political? Did I say that?
Well, you mentioned it in the context of like they don't mention like what like the intricacies of it are on Earth or whatever, like what they're doing.
Oh, about the okay,
like
that. yeah.
Like you didn't say it wasn't a political movie, but just like they don't get into.
I was like, oh, I would consider this a political movie.
No, it was just like I meant like they don't
in universe.
They don't get into like the domestic politics or anything like that. It's all about like the bugs and that kind of commentary about foreign politics.
Yeah. And I think it makes it a bit easier to digest that way too.
No, I think if they tried to explain further like the politics on Earth, like it would just make the movie worse. Yeah,
it's like that kind of reminds me of Star Wars in a way.
The prequels.
Yeah, how it's very simple and like, you know, it makes sense in the original, and then with the prequels, they gave you the nitty gritty and it was terrible.
In
when you said it, made me think of that. Yeah,
it makes sense because in New Hope, like, you know the bare minimum.
Yeah,
you know that, like, you know there's this oppressive empire and the rebels, and that's all you need to know. And then when there's no active war going on. And you're trying to get into the domestic politics, like, no one wants to watch that. That is not an adventure movie. You need someone usurping someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible movie. Movies. The prequels.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, someone's gonna comment. Oh, actually, they were genius. I know they weren't.
Well, Phantom Menace is the best one, and I'll die on that hill.
That's okay. I mean, I honestly, like... Anybody says any of the prequels is the best one, I'm like, sure. I'm just like, okay, yeah. Is. I'm like, sure, okay.
It probably is.
The only one that I would be like slightly willing to argue with if someone said Attack of the Clones is the best one. I'm like, oh, really? Then I'd be like, really?
I mean, if you're just super like, fuck it, like, I just want to see 100 lightsabers. It's like, okay, fair. But I just think Episode 1 has the best, like, still kind of feels like Star Wars to me. Episode 3 is fucking cool.
It definitely had the best setup, I would say, Episode 1. But they didn't do much with that.
They have an
setup.
epic fucking setup in Episode 1.
Yeah.
And
but they didn't do much with it, and then they kind of ruined.
Well, yeah. I love Beginnings, Evan. Did you know that?
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Like when Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, it wasn't a great setup.
Excuse me.
They're cool setups, but it wasn't a great setup.
Yeah. Yeah. And
then some of those setups within the setup are wasted.
We'll do Episode 1 next week.
Yeah.
We'll get into that more.
Darth Maul.
Okay. Darth Maul's dope.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, he's been back like 7 different times.
I liked when he was the secret villain of Solo.
That was terrible. I like how that would never pay off in any meaningful way.
It did, actually.
Did it?
Yeah.
Where?
Season 7 of the Clone Wars. I watched it.
Really?
Hmm?
They mentioned Solo?
Yeah.
How? What happened?
He's like still a gang lord in Season 7.
But doesn't Solo take place like way after Clone Wars? So how does that happen?
Does it? Oh no,
Yeah.
he's like gearing up to be a crime lord, I think.
Okay.
In episode.
He's first taking over like that, whatever
in
that.
Season 7, yeah.
I forgot what they call it. It's like the, what is it? It's like it's not red, but it's like
the triad of the double-bladed lightsaber or something.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
some
fucking
bullshit.
know.
Yeah.
Who cares? But yeah, I can't hate on Clone Wars. Clone Wars is pretty cool. But
I'm not
anyways,
hating on Clone Wars. I'm just talking about the prequel.
Sorry,
films.
I don't mean to spin my wheels on Star Wars.
No, but I felt it was similar in that way.
Yeah, that was actually a good point, but I kind of dragged it out about Star Wars. But yeah, so where are we?
When they're first going to war with the
they
bugs.
kill the parents, and he says I can't leave no more.
That's kind of like Star Wars too, when Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru die.
Well,
it's the call to action.
I think so. I mentioned off the top how this episode reminds me of, like, you know, like how we've been talking about irony, you know, a few episodes. Mm-hmm. And this movie, I think, does a better job deconstructing story structure than like adaptation, or we mentioned, or at least I thought it was similar to adaptation, the Genie movie.
Yeah.
What is it called?
What is it? 3,000 Years of Longing?
I think that's it. Yeah.
George Miller.
I think this movie does a better job deconstructing storytelling because it does the storytelling effectively.
No, you know what did it best? In the Mouth of
movie.
Madness.
Yeah. Pretty
That's
much.
a joke. Go listen to that episode.
Yeah, we didn't like that one very much, actually, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. It was okay, in my opinion.
But I think the way that, like, you can see every story beat coming in this movie, but it's still effective, is really fascinating.
Yeah.
It's way more interesting than fucking Mouth of Madness or adaptation. I hate adaptation. Well, hate's a very strong word.
I'm not a big Spike Jonze fan.
But
have you seen Being John Malkovich? Did not like that movie.
I tried watching it. I couldn't.
Did not like it.
I couldn't do it.
Not a fan of Her. Everyone loves that movie. I am not really a fan.
Her?
Yeah, Her.
Oh, yeah?
With Joaquin Phoenix. Was not a fan of that.
I prefer...
Like, it was okay, but I didn't like it. It was just like, okay, this is an okay movie.
I prefer Lars and the Real Girl.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
As the fake girl movie.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were we talking about? Oh, like the adaptation thing. Yeah, right.
Ryan Gosling had a better mustache than Joaquin Phoenix did.
Well, that's just true.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But anyways.
And he was much more like me.
Yeah, of course. No. What do you think? That's every movie I watch with Ryan Gosling. In some way, he is me.
And then, oh yeah, so the reason I mentioned the story beat thing is because, like, the denial of adventure, which not every movie follows it exactly, but, you know, like the hero's journey type thing.
Yeah.
And, that's the moment where you get the, like, refusal of the call.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying, Evan.
Yeah. Well, I did mention them dying. It is the call, the definitive call to action. So, yeah.
Interesting.
I did mention that.
Interesting. So, yeah, he's back on board. And then do they go to their little planet for the first time?
It's like that. It's the scene you see at the beginning in, like, the news feed.
Oh,
when they're, like, fighting them at night or whatever. And a bunch of them get fucked up.
They sure do.
Well, what do you think about the bugs design?
Don't like it.
They remind me of Cloverfield, the little ones. Have you seen Cloverfield?
No.
Oh, okay, so the little monsters in Cloverfield, like the ones that fall off of the actual
the big
Cloverfield
boy?
monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of remind me of them.
I didn't know.
Those are smaller, obviously, but you know, they're kind of big. These ones, but
they're kind of like cockroach crab type
yeah,
little characters. I never liked the design of these things, and I don't know if I said this to you before we recorded or if I said it earlier, but half the reason I never watched this movie is because they fucking disgust me. And I don't want to watch a movie where it's like a bunch of bugs.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask you, Evan, because earlier we talked about the cow. I mentioned to you how it was weird that they censored the cow, and then right after they show a bunch of dead bodies of like real soldiers on TV, in the context of the movie on TV. Yeah. So what do you think that? You said you had something to say about that. I'm curious what it was.
Oh, well, I was thinking you know, in general, and you know, this is me. You know, I am a vegan, so you know, there's no.
Oh, there you go, bringing that up.
No,
again.
no, I
bring
this up for a reason.
I'm just playing.
I'm not saying like, oh no, we shouldn't value animal life or anything like that, because obviously I don't agree with that. But I think it's in media, it's like human life can be like kind of treated carelessly, because like, you know, like if we watch a movie and a dog dies, it's like, oh shit. But like, you know, if a human's head gets blown off, it's like, oh. Wasn't that epic? Right. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading way too deep into that, but that's what ran through my head. But just trying to.
It is in the future, so like it's kind of, if you think about. I think a lot of this movie does a good job of, and maybe it's a credit to the book. I don't know, but a lot of this story, it has a lot of forward thinking stuff, and I think that's kind of. I think you're right about that. I think that maybe that's kind of like a. Oh, people hate seeing the dog die in the movie, but they don't care about seeing. I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think you're probably right.
So
it's interesting.
That's what I thought, at least during that scene.
And there's a few things like that in this movie too, where it feels very forward thinking of like, where would this mindset end up? Like not censoring dead humans on TV, but censoring a dying cow.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that, Evan.
No problem.
That was an astute observation.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah. I don't remember when that was from, but
it's like right, because you remember, you see Neil Patrick Harris. It's like right when the war's starting again, and they're talking about the bugs, and you see Neil Patrick Harris again because he's like talking to the news. He said, "You shoot him in the leg."
Oh,
remember?
Right.
Yeah, because he's like one of the military scientists or whatever. And they have like a bug captured. Remind me of District 9 a little bit too, in that way.
Which part?
Like, you know, when they have like the aliens in like the labs and stuff like that in District 9. So.
Yeah, this movie's pretty District 9-y.
Yeah.
Like if you take all the like the kayfabe out of Starship Troopers, it's District 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah.
Because District 9 is like. I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it is similar. Just kind of have different contexts.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Because this is more like about like, where that District 9 is more like about immigration and things like that. This is more about like imperialism, I guess.
But I think this movie asks you to think a little bit more, Evan.
Oh, perhaps.
No, I'm just kidding. But I think there's that element of like I said, there's no like tipping your hand in this movie. District 9 is like, which normally I'd probably like District 9 more because I don't really like ironic movies or like satire very much. But I think the way that this is handled is really good. But I do appreciate also just an earnest story like District 9.
Yeah.
So they're just different.
They are different.
You know?
They're different. But a bit similar too. So.
But in some ways a bit similar.
Yeah.
A bit similar, if you will.
But yeah, that raid on with the aliens on their planet or whatever at night, it was cool. I liked it. This one is kind of the movie starts to become more of an action movie at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean the movie's like, it still is played like an action movie, but it's also like super fucked up.
Well, yeah, it's similar to RoboCop because RoboCop is also very violent.
But something about RoboCop, maybe it's just because there's no monsters in RoboCop. Like I don't know why, but and also this is a context of like a real war, I guess. So weirdly,
well, you know, there's a war on crime. You know, so.
Oh my god, you just blew my fucking mind. No, but I think, RoboCop feels more like a revenge movie, where it's like, I kind of want to see these criminals be fucking destroyed by RoboCop.
Yeah.
But this movie, I don't really have any, like, allegiances one way or another. It's like these, like, Space Marines versus these, like, aliens.
Yeah.
So it's just like, like, it's hard to watch sometimes. Yeah. And not just because of that bad CGI, am I right?
Well, some of it looks like Spy Kids.
Yeah.
As we mentioned while watching it.
Spy Kids has
Spy Kids looks like this, I guess we could say.
Oh.
Because, of course, if before.
Little derivative, huh, Robert
Yeah.
Rodriguez, huh? No, but not he, but, the movie, you mentioned Spy Kids, right? Spy Kids does that thing where it's like, it's almost like stop motion animation, like for a second.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like for a quick.
It's like the CGI goes like 30 frames per second.
Yeah, yeah. Like when they animate it going down a tunnel usually and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. It looks really.
No,
weird.
I know exactly what you mean. I don't really know how to describe it or what that would be called.
Yeah, I don't know the technical element of it, but it definitely looks exactly like Spy Kids. Yeah.
Of course, Spy Kids is a much more genius film.
I mean, that's not even a really the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot more well made. Better acted.
Criterion Spy Kids win.
We're getting a box set of all four films. All four of them. Did you ever see the four Spy Kids?
No.
Neither.
No. Junie and the Carmen aren't even in it.
They are in it.
Briefly?
Yeah, like, they're not the main character, but they are in it.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah. They, like, come and, like, help or something.
Remember in,
You know what was awesome in Spy Kids 3?
No, wait, no, I was about to... I had the same thought. Is it the part where he's like, bring everyone?
Yeah,
that's
they
badass.
all come at the end. That was awesome.
It's the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen.
Avengers Endgame don't got shit on that.
They could never.
No,
they could never.
They really couldn't.
All these fucking Hispanics, fucking Spy Kid family
that one
members.
That one fast. Danny Trejo, Machete. That was
it's
epic.
Fucking epic.
It was.
He says, bring everyone.
It was badass when fucking Antonio Banderas. Remember, he's like about to complete his life's work on that fucking small brain. Then he finds out his children are in trouble, and he like swipes off the table in gorgeous 3D. And films in 3D, so it comes flying at you.
In gorgeous, fucking immaculate 3D.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I haven't thought about that part.
It was awesome.
In a long time.
Was it not awesome?
It is. No, it's fucking epic.
Yeah. So.
His life's work.
It was his life's work. He's like, finally. And then he finds out his children are in trouble. And he could just be like, oh, I'll come back. But he fucking threw it all.
Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
awesome.
badass.
It was badass, yeah.
Holy shit. Dude, I gotta rewatch the Spy Kids movies.
Those are great movies.
Hell yeah.
But I loved Spy Kids 3, honestly. Everyone shit on it, but I love part 3.
I thought that one was like...
I mean, it had the most memes about it, obviously, because I guess it's like technically the shittiest
It's
one.
kind of the stupidest one, but it's also like the funnest one.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fun.
It is.
Like, they're all in their little Master Chief costumes, and they like... And, like, the
race, that was badass.
The race, the power-ups...
Yeah.
Fucking, what's
Fun
it called?
movie.
The guy,
Elijah Wood.
that's one of the best jokes in any movie.
I would agree with that.
I hard agree with that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood was awesome.
It's one of the funniest fucking movies ever made.
Is that one of the greatest cameos of all time?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just needs.
It's a bit of subversion.
Yeah, it is definitely.
Mm.
They thought he was the guy, right? They thought Junie was the guy.
And then it turns out that Junie was the fucking guy.
No, they thought Junie was the guy. Remember?
And he wasn't the guy.
And then he wasn't the guy, but then he was the guy, kind of.
Right?
Wait, what?
I don't remember what he was, right?
Well, Elijah Wood was the guy.
But no, he wasn't because he died.
Well, he dies, but he wasn't the guy.
I guess.
It was bad. Remember, he had 99 lives. You remember that? Oh, badass. Do you remember Junie kills his fucking fake girlfriend?
Oh man, yeah, she was like an AI, right?
Yeah.
That movie was so ahead of its time.
It was. That was an epic
That
film.
movie was so fucking ahead of its time. Like Ready Player One, like you had the benefit of like 10 times the special effects budget, and you still couldn't touch it.
Yeah.
You fucking dumbass. Steven Spielberg's a fucking dumbass.
Don't say that. I like Spielberg.
He is. He's a fucking idiot.
I mean, he's overhyped, but I do like him. I'm excited for the Fablemans.
Well,
Very excited to see that.
I mean, I'm kind of excited for that, but honestly, it would get super off topic. Sorry, but Ready Player One is legitimately one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
No, I believe that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying like, oh,
yeah.
Dylan, you're wrong for that opinion. No, I'm like, yeah, that's fine.
No, I'm not really hating on Spielberg too much. I'm being a little hyperbolic. Hopefully, you already left your comment.
I think it was stupid when John
Yeah.
Campio was like, he is the greatest filmmaker of all time. Like, no.
Goofy.
Yeah.
Well, you goofy. Just because he has the most shirts in FYE doesn't mean he's the best director.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Bad take.
Huge bad take. They should call it the Bad Take Kia show.
They should call it that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Because he has a lot of them.
No, he sure does.
He has a lot of them. But yeah, you think he dies, Johnny, when they're after, because a bunch of people start dying. Of course, as we mentioned, very.
Oh yeah, it
brutal.
goes real bad.
The bugs are killing them all.
It goes real bad.
It's like what's a U.S. invasion that went terrible? Like Bay of Pigs. That went pretty bad, right? It's like the Bay of Pigs in space.
Yeah. Which is
sure.
Fucking epic.
Yeah. And you think he dies. But of course he did not die.
Well, the astute viewer will know, Evan.
Yeah.
That if death is not shown on screen, it
Yeah,
doesn't happen.
of course. That certainly cannot always be the case.
It is.
I don't think so.
It is.
Always?
Never has it ever been broken.
Okay.
You can't break filmmaking rules, Evan.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Fuck the French New Wave.
But didn't we do? What did we do last week?
Hard Boiled.
Hard Boiled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember we were reading like the John Woo quotes. That's his name, right?
Yeah, John Woo.
Yeah, we were reading his like quotes on, and he was like, fuck filmmaking rules.
Yeah.
Like, we literally just did that.
But Paul Verhoeven did not do it because he lived. That character. But his girlfriend thought he was dead. His name showed up. It's weird that he was listed as killed in action, even though they very clearly had him, like, in his pod.
That was clearly just like a drama thing.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid. Like, that actually makes no sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like I said about the same reason that like the kind of rival boyfriend exists.
Yeah,
even because they never make her out to be completely the bad guy because they never even really date. To our knowledge.
Yeah.
So he's kind of just there to be like an actual physical opposition.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing where it's like, oh, the next time they see each other, she can be double excited that he's still alive.
Yeah.
Versus like if she had no reason to think he was dead, her being like, oh, I'm so glad you're alive. Like in real life, that would make sense for someone to say that to a soldier that she hadn't seen them in a long time. But like in the context of a movie, you need to be like, okay, she thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, for a reason.
No, I agree.
Then, you know what I mean?
But I just thought, I was like, that doesn't really make
It doesn't.
sense.
No, it doesn't.
Because it's like, I thought it could be like, oh, they find him alive later. You know what I mean? Because that would make sense. But no, they just had him. Like,
he was in the back of the tank.
Yeah, he was in the fucking pod. Apparently, they had to lay him for 3 days.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're like, oh, you were killed in action. His goofy friends.
Oh, they're so silly.
Yeah. I don't know. Not too much to say there, really.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive. It was the teacher who saved him, though. The one we mentioned before, who dies later.
Yeah.
Um,
and I like their there's a couple characters that have it, that fake robot hand effect.
Yeah,
I think it looks good.
It does. It does.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of lost limbs in this movie. Remember when he first like signing up to join or whatever, he's talking to the guy who's like, yeah, I was in the infantry, and then he looks at his missing arm. He has like the robot arm. Then he looks and sees also missing the legs.
Yeah, and he says like, oh, infantry, that's what made me the man I am today.
I feel like that is one of the more on the nose moments.
There's not a lot,
Yeah,
but that's the...
When he sees them fucking, like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, like he's missing legs and his arm.
It kind of plays like a normal joke, but like it's really fucked up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, you see on his face, he's like, oh shit. Like, he's like, when he sees that. That's why I'm saying, so, if where they kind of, I don't know what the saying is, like, lift the veil, or,
yeah,
you know what I mean? A bit. Definitely one of the more on the nose moments.
Yeah. What? Wait, is there a saying like that? Like, you look behind the curtain.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But yeah, there's very few moments like that.
Yeah.
Where they're actually like, oh yeah, war is terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
Aside from the actual action, which is never. It's glamorous. A lot, like some of the time, like when he beats the big bug on his own.
Yeah.
That's like super like.
Yeah, because he like jumps off the fucking like hill and
yeah, and he like
back
and, like shoots it in the back and like dunks it in like a basketball.
That was pretty good gun
it.
effects. The sound you just did.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can't do that, so I was,
Thanks.
I was impressed by that.
But there's like occasional moments of like badass heroism,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it feels like very brutal.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like kind of realistic war, as real as you can get with fighting giant bugs.
Yeah,
But you get the idea.
But it's always played up to be like, oh, it's not like, oh shit, what are we doing? It's always like, oh fuck those bugs. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's like more revenge. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, the teacher had saved him anyways, and then he comes back from the beginning of the movie, as we mentioned earlier. What did you think about him?
So him and I guess we could probably talk about them both. The Mr. Krabs character and the teacher.
Yeah.
They both have a similar kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Where the Mr. Krabs takes a demotion just to... well, Clancy Brown, he doesn't have a name, I'm sorry. No disrespect. But he takes a demotion just to be able to fight in the war, like, on the ground.
Yeah.
And he actually does receive the glory.
Yeah, at the end.
Like, all the glory for defeating the... Or capturing, I should say.
Yeah.
Like, kind of the smart bug they were after.
Yeah.
Kind of the leader bug, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the teacher... I guess they kind of parallel each other.
Well, why do you say that?
Because the teacher kind of dies doing this the whole cycle of like rising through the ranks, become like you know, the highest ranking like ground foot soldier you can be, and then dying in that position. And then Clancy Brown kind of even got further than that, and then like he still just wants to do that despite having gotten out of it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm kind of confused. You lost me a little bit.
Well, it wasn't really a fully formed thought, but I just thought there was a parallel there. Like, there might be something to it. But basically, they're his teachers and his elders, Johnny. And, like, one of them didn't die in the war, so he kind of just, like, kept going for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you don't die a villain, you die to be a hero. Whatever the fuck the Batman quote is. I don't know.
The Dark Knight.
Like, maybe there's something to be said about them being kind of entrenched in war. You know, their life becomes war, and that's all they can do. That's kind of true to life.
That's true.
It's hard for people to detach from that once they've been in it. I don't know.
Yeah, he couldn't even just be a teacher. He's like, no, I gotta come back.
He's like, I must kill.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And they all respect him, as you see. They're all like, yeah, he's... Like, when someone, like, says... He says, like, oh... who is it? It's, Gary Busey's son's...
Jake
character.
Busey.
Jake Busey. He's like, yeah... Before they meet him, and you find out, oh, it's the teacher from the beginning of the movie... he's like, oh, I heard that this new like sergeant or whatever position he has, he's kind of they call him like, he said he's like a ball buster or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the chick just gets immediately pissed off and like punches him in the fucking face because of that. And she's like, he saved my life. And then the other dude, Father Gabriel from The Walking Dead, the one you said was like the psycho.
He's a psychopath.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, he saved my life too. Like, so they didn't want him talking any shit on that man. Anything to make of that?
Oh, that's a weighty question, Evan.
No, he's a great hero. So why would you talk shit?
Well, it's cult-like, I guess. It's also... It also kind of... What's the word? When it makes you think something else is going to happen. Not subversion. I don't want to say that.
It's a buzzword.
Yeah. But it kind of misleads you.
Yeah.
Okay? It kind of misleads you because later... Because you have all these people who are like, don't talk shit about me. You save my fucking life.
Yeah.
Through their teeth like that and everything.
Yeah.
And then later, they're walking through a canyon. Like, he says to one guy, like, oh, you can't get a good, like, reading from down here. Go up there. And then he goes up there, and then a flying bug comes and stabs him and flies him away.
This is a moment we were mentioning earlier about how them become, like, cold.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, so for me, I was thinking, like, oh, he's going to save him. And he's going to, like, shoot the bug, and the guy's going to drop, and they're going to save him or something. Because, like, they just went off about, like, oh, he always saves us.
Yeah.
Like, and then, the bug comes in. Yeah, the bug takes the guy up on the canyon, and I thought he was going to save him. But, yeah, he just shoots him in the heart.
Damn.
That moment was kind of cool, though, because he was like, give me your gun.
Yeah.
He takes the gun from some other sniper or something and shoots him in the chest. And it's interesting, too, because during that, I don't know if this is intentional, but I feel like he could have just as easily shot the bug.
Yeah, I did think
in that moment.
Yeah.
Which
I thought was happening. At first, I thought he set that guy up to get, to lure out a bug.
To draw them out or
Yeah,
something.
that's what I thought was going on, but no.
No, he just fucked up, I think.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, but yeah, he shoots him. He's like, I want you to do the same thing for me. That's what he says. I don't think that comes back.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think
no, which is lazy writing, but whatever. We're joking.
No, he dies.
We're joking. That does happen.
Being shot in the fucking heart.
Oh, yeah. Which was...
Yeah, I feel like he could have lived. Because he just, he got his legs,
Well, yeah, because you see, there's the whole gag about the guy earlier.
Yeah.
Who, he had his legs ripped off.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the movie is, a little nicer than you might expect it to be. Because it kind of implies that it saves as many people, this military saves as many people as they can.
Mm.
But I guess that's kind of the point, though. Like we were saying, there's not a, it doesn't show its hand, like I kind of was saying. So maybe that's part of the propaganda that's like, oh, if we can save you, we will.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that are just, deeply fucked also at the same time. But it does show you, if they can save people, they will. But it's, that's always the main characters, so I don't know. Because you're supposed to, in the context of, if you're in the year 2089, or whatever this year takes place.
20XX.
It's 2000X, and Wily escapes to kill a more evil boss.
Exactly.
Vernal Floss.
Exactly.
Classic. Anyways, but yeah, if you're actually a kid in the future watching this, then I guess maybe the intention is it's super epic and crazy war, and I would be the main guy, and I would never die.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I mean, with the Paul Verhoeven film, you can never definitively say yes.
Oh, no, you couldn't.
You can never definitively say yes.
For sure.
But it's certainly possible.
But yeah, I think he could have lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
He didn't want to live like that, though.
And I thought he was going to shoot him in the head.
That would be a shitty way to live. No legs.
Oh, that's mean.
What? I mean, I'm not trying to be...
There's plenty
of... Does that sound mean? I'm not saying you can't
ableist, Evan.
I'm not being ableist, but
You're telling me you would rather die than not have the use of your legs?
I'm not saying that personally. I'm just saying it could be a shit. Like, I could see someone be like, yeah, just shoot me. Like, I don't want to live like that. I'd be like, okay.
And he's a high-ranking officer. He might be able to afford robot legs.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, dude, you got a robot arm, so like, you don't got robot legs. And
I think that's a money thing. I think it's like he's not paid well enough to afford robot legs.
That's certainly possible.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Because he's like a desk.
He can afford the robot arm though.
Well, I mean, this is the least they could do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Plus, it looks cool. It's good effect. Clearly chunky enough to be a glove, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the power glove.
Yeah, that's badass.
Burt Reynolds stole it from me.
Can we watch?
Got it back.
Can we watch?
Do you know where that's from?
Wait, Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds stole it from me. Got it back.
The power glove?
Yeah.
The wizard?
No.
I don't know.
Teleporting fat guy.
With a cool mustache.
Yeah. You don't remember teleporting fat guy?
Oh, no, of course.
Burt Reynolds stole it from me. Got it back. You remember that?
That's epic.
And they showed a picture of Burt Reynolds wearing the power glove.
It's been many years.
Oh, what?
It's been many years since I've seen teleporting fat guy.
Teleporting fat guy with a cool mustache. Was that awesome?
We should do an RNS episode on like the first like 300 hours of Smosh.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Or maybe not 300.
Yeah, 300.
That would probably go through like 2020.
Yep.
No, like
We'll review every food battle.
that would be epic.
Yeah, so.
That would be no, that would be sad.
Why would be sad?
That would be sad because I don't know.
I'll bring you down memory lane.
Yeah, because I'm like Ian's just like a TikToker now. That like interviews like Bella Thorne and.
Does he really?
Yeah, him and Josh have like the same exact job now. They're like alt boy influencers that like review girls.
Who's Josh?
Josh Peck.
Oh, damn.
They're like the same person now.
I mean,
Ian Hecox. Or wait, no. Anthony Padilla.
Oh, Anthony
is the TikToker one.
Oh yeah, because he left Smosh.
Ian is the like brown hair one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they both have dark hair. I guess one kind of black.
But Anthony has black hair.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting characters. You know what? The very influential. As you know, they changed the YouTube game. Would YouTube be what we know it to be today without a Smosh? Who knows?
Yeah, I think so.
Who knows?
I think it would still be very corporate and soulless.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But I just mean as far as the content.
Like the actual good content.
Yeah.
Or like
perhaps.
Or like the actual individualist type content.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They paved the way for many people.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they were on number one sub for a little bit, right?
They were. Yeah.
Maybe like a couple years or something.
Yeah.
Epic.
So there you go.
Well, next week we'll be back with food fight. What is it? Food battle.
Food battle, of course.
Food battle 1 through 11.
Can we do a food battle? Like our own food battle, me and you.
I can pick hamburger.
I would say, remember how every year Ian had the pink frosted sprinkle donut? I'll be like Anthony, where I have a different food every year, and every year you'll have the hamburger.
That'd be epic.
That would be yeah. Exactly.
Bacon cheeseburger.
Yeah, you'll have that every year, and every year I'll have something different.
That's badass.
Like I'll start with like a vegan cinnamon roll, then next year I'll do the celery stick like Anthony. You know what I mean? Something like that. So.
And then we do a let's play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah. So the commanding officer guy dies.
He does die later. The one, the giant bug, I kind of liked how they looked. They're like giant beetles. You see them a couple times. It was like the one he throws the grenade in that you mentioned earlier.
And they're the ones that shoot the asteroids into space that like spread the bugs to other planets.
And they also shoot like fucking like fire out of their mouth.
Yeah, they also have flamethrowers.
You see people get melted by them a couple times.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it did look cool.
Divorced from all the like, because when I was watching this, I would it has a reputation of being like a smart movie and like a satire. So I was trying to figure out like, okay, like can I make anything of this? Like, am I But sometimes, like, when someone just bursts into flames and melts into a skeleton,
well, that's just awesome.
That's just kind of fucking awesome.
Yeah, no matter what, no matter who you are.
Even if you're watching an ISIS leak video on Live Leak, it's still pretty bad.
Pretty cool seeing someone get set on fire.
Still pretty cool.
Do they set people on fire?
I'm sure they did, yeah.
They did at some point, they did that.
I'm sure they do or did, yeah.
At some point.
I'm sure they jam out to Drake in the club.
Yeah.
You remember that video?
I do, yeah. No. Drake. Drizzy Drake,
favorite of the Taliban.
Yeah. Did you listen to his new album?
No.
Me either.
I don't like Drake.
No.
Yeah. He was in ATL?
He was.
Stay out of ATL.
For Takeoff's funeral.
Yeah, let's stay out of ATL, I say.
Oh.
To Drake.
To Drake. Okay, yes.
No, JB is welcome.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
Take off his family and his mourners.
Well, they're from Atlanta, so you know.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Not Drake.
Yeah, no Drake.
Okay.
No. Stay in fucking Canada.
No.
Piece of shit.
God damn.
Anyways, but yeah, so he shoots the guy in the heart. You know, to spare him, I guess.
Yeah, and then what's her name? What was it? Dez? Was it Driz? I don't remember.
Drizzy?
It wasn't Driz. I think that could Drake. I think it was Dez. Dizzy. What an interesting name.
The actress's name is Dina.
No, but the character's name.
And the character's name is Dizzy.
Dizzy.
Yeah.
The character's name is Dizzy. Well, she dies here as well.
Does she?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
After she kills, because she's the one who.
Well, they get her off onto the ship.
Yeah.
But yeah, she kills the
giant beetle thing.
One of the big ones.
Yeah.
And she's like celebrating. She gets impaled. And that moment was kind of cool.
Yeah.
To me, because if you think about it as like the bugs being like another sentient species and not like fodder, it's like they got one of their high-ranking people, and then like it was like an exchange.
Yeah.
Like the humans got a high-ranking one of theirs, the bugs got a high-ranking one of theirs, and then they got the people that killed each other.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Fucked up, I'd say.
Kind of messed up and kind of fucking twisted, but
I would say.
What else can you expect from the mind of Paul Vier?
Oh, and we didn't even mention when they're on the whole mission. This when they first found out about the brain.
Yeah.
One.
So this whole thing was a trap.
Yeah.
And it was orchestrated by the
brain.
big gooey brain bug.
Yeah.
Which is pretty.
I guess it's like he made them send out like whatever military base they had there. They like made them send a distress call.
Because the smart brain bug is also able to literally like put a big straw. Into humans' minds.
Yeah.
And I guess it can either suck up their brain information or
like control
their body.
Yeah.
So yeah, they sent out a distress signal.
Yeah.
From a base that was completely wiped out already.
Yeah.
And there was that coward general too that was like hiding in like a little box.
Yeah. I forgot about him. He dies.
That was pretty funny. But yeah, some wreckage just like flying around just smashes him or something. Or like it's a dead bug. Winds up like impaling him.
Yeah. And of course they all like treat him as like a pussy for wanting to live.
It's funny to me that like they don't really explain that. But I thought that was really funny. Because like he just comes out and he's like, oh, thank you, or something. And then he gets up.
It's when he came, he's like, "You're all heroes." Remember?
Yeah, and after he's like, "You're all gonna be heroes." And then after that, he starts explaining himself to the lieutenant guy.
Yeah.
Like immediately, he's like, "Oh, why did they couldn't get my information from my brain? I couldn't let them because." And he keeps trying to explain himself. It's pretty funny. And then he almost kills him. The lieutenant almost kills the general that they saved. Which that was pretty funny too.
What do you make of the brain bug? Anything interesting to say about that?
No.
Oh.
It's kind of cool. Kind of nasty looking.
Of course, but like I don't know, like
is there any deeper significance?
Yeah, I don't think so. Brain bug, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I'd have to think about it.
I think it's kind of just like the most significant thing I could say about it is it's kind of like their version of Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah,
highly evolved, and then like I don't know who's at fault really, the bugs or the humans. Like I guess the indication is maybe the humans, but either way, like they're not using this ability, this evolved.
It's like you said
ability.
about like the perversion.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Like it almost feels like this divine thing that in a happier movie, at the end they would say like, "Oh, I can read its mind. It's like sorry, or it feels bad. It doesn't want to be doing this."
Yeah.
Like in a happier movie, and then it'd be like, "Oh, that was like this power is like a godsend, or it's a it's a miracle in evolution, or whatever." But for them, they just want to kill with it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like, remember after they leave the planet from this mission, after they all escape, and, Dizzy died, and the sergeant or lieutenant, whatever his position is, the teacher, he dies. Johnny's like, blow up the fucking planet. Like, he wants to blow up the planet. They're like, no, we can't do that. They have things we need or want or whatever. Of course, that's like, obviously a real world parallel is like fucking like oil or natural resources.
Yeah,
or whatever.
because you turned to me and you were like, they had oil.
Yeah. So they're like, no, we can't.
Because at this point, we don't really know why they wouldn't want to blow it up.
Yeah.
But it's of course
they want the brain.
They want to actually like study the brain bug.
Yeah.
So that we find out that's why. And then what else happens?
Well, I think after that they end up. Well, what does happen like immediately after that? I can't exactly remember. He gets the higher rank, and like we mentioned, he just becomes kind of more cold and more like focused in just only the mission, not so much like the personal aspects of it.
Yeah, because he has that conversation with Neil Patrick Harris.
Mm-hmm.
And that
because he sees Neil. Okay, after this, when we see Neil Patrick Harris again, and he's wearing like the Nazi coat, he legit
straight
looks
up
like a Nazi.
the Nazi outfit.
Yeah.
We see him like as like in school, and then one more time and another time, and it's sequentially more Nazi. Each time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he goes and sees Neil Patrick Harris, and there's this really bizarre scene where they kind of it's to what you're saying about him being more desensitized and more about like, oh, it's about the mission, not the individual.
Yeah.
And Neil Patrick Harris and him like have this back and forth that doesn't feel like two friends like at all, because Neil Patrick Harris is like, we send hundreds of you out there to die every day because we have to, because that's just what we do. Yeah. And then he's like
oh, because they knew the distress call wasn't a legit one, but they let them go anyways.
Yeah, like the higher up sent them in to die because they were like, we need this information regardless. Irregardless, as they say in Harvard law school, but
relevant. It's relevant.
Because of the movie.
Yeah,
but it's just this. The way that scene plays out is really bizarre, and I think that's one of the most propagandy type moments.
Yeah, because he said and he like I said, he's like, oh, we send you all out to die or whatever. And he's like, yep, that's our job. Pretty much. Johnny's like, yep, that's what we do.
It's funny because it almost feels like an MCU parody. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know. Like, there's this stupid quip after that. Yeah. Like, this debilitating military horror.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's our job. Like, I don't know.
It's evil.
It is evil.
Yeah, and then they go back to the planet to go find the brain. So you just get more war or whatever, blah blah blah. And then at some point, the ship gets attacked. If all the one that Denise Richard character and her like co-pilot, whatever he is, not her boyfriend guy, gets attacked. And they had to, like, crash land on the planet. And, of course, they're talking to each other through, like, radio or whatever. And they find out they're being attacked by the bugs. And at that point, it's, like, to kind of show how cold he becomes. He's like, okay, they're dead. There's no way we can save them. There's no point in trying to go rescue them. But eventually he does. And, as we find out later, because Neil Patrick Harris, like, telepathically told him where to go. So, in that way, it's like, well, was there like an ulterior motive there? I guess, but
yeah, maybe
it's like it makes him look like less evil, Neil Patrick Harrison character.
But then if you think about it,
it's like there probably was some kind of ulterior motive.
But then if you think about it, maybe not, because let's say, because we don't know how these powers work or how this mental stuff works really, but if Neil Patrick Harris knows generally what he's looking for in terms of the brain bug. And then he has a link to anyone that he knows personally, or that's his friend, or let's say knows personally. So he knows that. What's her name? Denise? Or is that the actress's name?
That's the actress's name.
What's her name?
In the movie, I can't remember off the top of my head.
But yeah, the girlfilm character.
The only one I can read Johnny Rico.
The pilot. the pilot girl. So since he's personally like knows her, he has a psychic connection to her, and he can tell that she's like in the
still
room, alive, and in the room with the brain bug, and like about to be consumed by it. So he knows, okay, if I tell her ex-boyfriend Johnny, hey, here's where she is, like just go get her.
Yeah.
Like in a telepathic, in less words than that, because it's like a telepathic thing. He gives him
like a feeling, like
he gives him an intuition.
Yeah,
he gives him an intuition, but he says it was him basically. But really, what he's doing is making sure they find the bug.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if you read into it a little deeper.
That's what I thought. I was like, I don't think he cares that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I gotta save my former friend or whatever. So yeah, evil.
Typical evil NPH.
Yeah, but you do see the other guy's brain get sucked out.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
It was disturbing seeing like because I imagine like when I feel like that would happen if you're getting your fucking brain sucked out, but his eyes like start rolling.
Yeah,
towards, like the back of his head.
His eye is a great effect.
Yeah, it looked cool. It actually did look really good.
The eyes roll back of his head. All the fat and like the muscle gets like depleted in his face, and it turns white. It was dope.
It seemed like you didn't enjoy watching the brain bug suck the
brain bug just looks. It has like an asshole mouth and like 8 eyes, and like it's fucking disgusting to look at.
I thought it looked cool.
I think the effect's great, and it like I don't think it was supposed to look fuckable, so I don't think that's like my problem. But it was a great effect.
Yeah,
and especially like the face melting shit.
The thing comes out of its.
I hate that. Yeah, it has a little brain.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like look like you're like covering your eyes a little bit, like you didn't want to look at it.
No, I didn't because it's nasty.
Oh, okay.
But it has like that little brain straw that comes out of its asshole mouth, and
he sucks the brain.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to that poor.
Rest in peace to that son of a bitch.
Yeah. That poor gentleman.
Yeah.
But they rescue her. They kill a bunch of bugs, kind of draw away the brain bug, and they head out. And then of course.
Oh well, yeah, the sociopath guy. The disturbed mental patient.
Yeah, he's
kind of like, oh, leave the nuke with me. He doesn't sound like that, but he says, leave the nuke with me. And they leave him the nuke. And I guess that's kind of like what flushes out the brain bug, and they're able to capture it.
Yeah, because so it's like, only like 3 of them go down there. Johnny,
yeah, because he's not
Jake,
sure.
Is it Jake Busey?
Yeah.
Jake Busey, and Father Gabriel from The Walking Dead. They're the only ones to go down, and then of course the rest of the army. They're like, okay, continue the mission. They thought they were just saving her, but then you find out, oh, it's like it actually was part of the mission because the brain bug. But like you mentioned, he gets fucked up, and then he blows himself up, and they're able to draw the bug out, and they capture it. The rest of the military, so they kind of went hand in hand in that way.
Yeah.
Which also makes me think that, like, oh, Neil Patrick Harris probably planned it out.
Some of that. Yeah. He had a hand in it, for sure. Big Nazi NPH.
Yeah. And then, the other guy, like you mentioned, he ends up kind of getting the glory for capturing.
Yeah, so the Clancy Brown, he was a high-ranking officer that wanted to get back into the game.
Yeah.
Like we said. And
he says he's I'm a private, which is like the low ranking.
The lowest rank you can be, I think.
Yeah. He said, no, I'm a private. I thought that was interesting.
There was interesting. They mentioned the whole rank thing a few times, which I thought was interesting in like a social way. A lot of it, outside of the military's influence in certain ways, a lot of it feels very like normal.
What do you mean?
Like the part where they're in the cafe thing, like they're in like some lunchroom area, and it's like Johnny and his ex-girlfriend and like her new quote-unquote boyfriend, whatever he is, and then he's like, I don't remember, there's some official way that he denounces their rank in that situation. He's like, oh, our rank doesn't matter or whatever, and then he's like, what is he gonna do, and he punches him.
Oh, he wanted to get in the fight. That
feels like such a normal movie thing.
Yeah, it's like Top Gun or some shit.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's any commentary there. It just feels like a normal dramatic moment.
Yeah,
I don't know. But when there's a lack of commentary, you can point back, Evan, towards the original idea, and you can say, that was epic. That's
true. And kind of like how you mentioned, it's like there's almost kind of like two different movies. Well, I think I was the one who said about the two different movies, but you mentioned like the drama aspect of it kind of feeling like it's from a different movie.
I feel like there's an equal but separate amount of effort put into the drama.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Which I think is supposed to enhance the commentary.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting that I feel like there's that much work and talent put into that side of the movie.
I agree. I agree.
Yes.
Because it makes you kind of... I feel like if... It would be more difficult or not as fun to watch, I guess, if they're all the characters were just like not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they're all just like extreme satirical whatever. You know?
That's what I was saying earlier. If you hear satire and parody, you think like these are going to be one-dimensional characters.
Yeah.
Which I think is true with adaptation.
Yeah.
For example, if you don't mind me saying.
Oh yeah. I didn't see adaptation, so.
It's such a dog shit movie.
A lot of people like it, but like I said, I don't like.
Well, those people are idiots.
Being John Malkovich, did not like that movie.
Yeah. Well, I watched it in film school, or in a film class in a community college. I should say. Yeah. Not that fancy, but.
Hey man, school is school.
School is school.
Yeah.
I still did pay for it. No, I didn't.
Oh.
I had a grant.
Nice.
Anyways. Yeah, I watched that in film school and I fucking hated it. Because for a minute I was like, I'm supposed to like this is smart. But then once I was finished watching it, I was like, that's fucking
stupid.
Yeah, it's a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah.
Anyways, more Starship Troopers. What do you got?
They celebrate capturing the brain bug.
Oh yeah, well we didn't mention the iconic Neil Patrick Harris puts his hand on the bug.
Yeah.
And he says, "It's."
That's a little bit after that, after like celebrating it.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Well, they're celebrating Tom Clancy, or that's not his name, is it? Tom Clancy's the army guy. Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't say Tom Clancy at all during this.
Oh, does he put it on it there? His hand on the bug there? I thought it's not until you see them later at the end of the movie. But maybe you're right. Maybe he does do it there.
That is the end of the movie.
No, because then you get like the news clips of like, oh, the war is going to come to an end now that we capture that. Then you see the brain bug in like a lab.
Oh, because that's when they like stab it.
Yeah, okay.
And stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it has the net on it and stuff, and they just capture it, and he's like, it's afraid, and they're all like, yay!
That's so fucked up.
Yeah, I
know. That's disturbing for real.
Yeah, like imagine like the first like.
But that feels like capturing like capturing like Osama bin Laden, and he's like, oh, like he's freaking the fuck out, he's scared. You know what I mean? Everyone's like, yeah, you get what I'm saying though.
Evan like threw his head back and like gargled his tongue.
But you get what I mean.
No, I just want to describe that because it's funny.
Everyone be like, yeah. Like
a video of him writhing on the ground.
Yeah,
with a big hole in his head.
Be like, yeah, fucking. So, that way, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
But yeah, I always did have that kind of. I was very curious about the end of the movie, and now I know.
Yeah. So the ending's kind of scary.
It's a pretty scary, dour ending.
Yeah, because they have the bug. They're like, the war will come to an end now. So the movie doesn't end with them like winning officially or anything like that. They just capture the bug. Like the war will now.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris is like, well, this will be. I think he says this, which correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he says this. He's like, oh, like it will be forgotten in history that this was the turning point in the war.
Did he say that?
He does.
Oh.
I think. And then that's when they reveal that it was Mr. Krabs that saved.
Oh, yeah.
Because you think he's gonna say like, "Oh, thanks to you," but then he's like, "Thanks to fucking Mr. Krabs." So. Yeah, and then they're just like a cool trinity of evil people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the scientists
experimenting
on the brain.
Yeah, so he's experimenting on the bug. They're stabbing it, and the girl's still like a pilot, I guess, and the guy's still like a general, I guess.
Yeah. Did anything happen with him at the end, Johnny? Not really, right?
They just show that he's like still like further becoming like the same general that taught him.
Yeah.
Where he's like, do you guys want to like what does he say, like, you want to live forever? And he's like, go on.
Oh yeah. They're showing it's like on the news, right?
Yeah.
Kind of, or like it might not be the news, but like someone's filming it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they did their thing. They did their thing for their planet.
Oh, didn't they?
They did their thing.
They did the dang thing.
They did the dang thing. And maybe they continue to do it in the sequels. I didn't see them. So
Well, I will never see them.
Yeah, neither will I. So.
Apparently, from the glance I took at it, the second one is terrible, and the third one is slightly less terrible.
Yeah.
But I would not trust either of them.
Me either. I'd watch them, I guess, just like out of pure curiosity.
The second, I'm interested.
Yeah.
It kind of, but also not.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if I'd go out of my way to watch
I don't want to see bugs no more.
But if someone gave me like a DVD copy, it's like Starship Trooper 2 and 3, I'd be like, maybe I'll just watch it and see how it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to see no more bugs.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to see no more bugs.
You had enough. Yeah.
I had enough bugs.
Yeah.
And I had the benefit of being in a good movie as well, so
yeah, so
I could deal with it.
You should watch Bug, William Friedkin's Bug.
What was that?
It's like with Michael Shannon and Ashley Judd, and they're like, oh no, the bugs are infecting our house, they're infecting our body, and they become like super paranoid and shit.
What about The Tingler?
I haven't seen that.
You don't know that one?
I do know it with Vincent Price, but I have not seen it.
Oh yeah, I want to watch that one.
Yeah, that seems fun.
That one, if you don't know, it's a cool movie. To our loving audience, is fear. When you feel a tingle up your spine, is actually a parasite that's like living in your spine. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that was about.
Yeah, there's like.
I just knew Vincent Price was in it, and there's like a centipede.
Yeah, the only way you can stop it from killing you is when you scream. You like let out the fear. You let the fear out. So
I don't scream very often, so it's like.
Well, that's why you're dying and decrepit. Yeah.
So it made sense, like when you scream during the movie, it's like because you don't want to die.
Because I'm healthy.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah. The Tingler.
Yeah, The Tingler.
And that was famously also the movie where they had like metal prongs in the movie theater seats, and whenever there would be like a moment where like they like rip a parasite out of someone's spine or something, it would like tase you in the back.
They really did that?
Yeah, it was like the first like 4D kind of movie.
Yeah.
Or one of them.
I don't know if I would like that. That would bother me.
No, I wouldn't like that. But
Yeah,
it's an interesting piece of history.
That's true, but it would bother me.
I would hate it. Yeah. I remember I saw something like that at like it was an aquarium or a zoo or something. They had a 4D movie, and they literally had like a prong like that would like shoot into your back.
Jeez. You should have sued them.
I rightly should have.
Yeah. And I guess when you pay for the ticket, you're probably like a form of signing up for it.
It didn't really hurt. It's not that serious.
No, I don't like that.
I described it more violently than it really was.
Oh. But you still didn't enjoy it though.
No.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like you said. Like, am I really gonna sit in the seat for the whole movie?
Yeah.
And like, you gotta try and watch a movie.
That's interesting.
Yeah, fascinating.
Trivia. Do you want to do trivia?
Sure.
For Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. Number 1, this movie predicted fucking everything that would ever happen in American history.
That's true.
What a handsome guy. Can we see, you know what, real quick before we do trivia, can you click on Casper Van Dien and let's see if he's been in anything.
He's been in Starship Troopers.
He was in 3.
Starship Troopers 3. He was in Sleepy Hollow. That's a good movie. Tarzan and the Lost City. 2014 Sleeping Beauty. Never heard of that.
That was definitely probably like one of the non-Disney ones.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like nothing too great.
I've heard of Dracula 3000. I feel like people say that's good.
Is it? Let's see.
Like, it's goofy, but I heard it's good.
Oh, 2.1 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yeah, so I heard it's good. Yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of just Dracula AD.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Possibly. But I'm like, Dracula 3000. Made for television science fiction horror film.
Okay, yeah, that was a sci-fi original. Yeah, I'm wrong.
He was in Alita. I don't know who he played. But...
Oh, I know who he was.
Who was he?
Well, he was probably the really handsome one.
What really handsome one?
Remember the one that was like, "You dare cut my fucking face"? You know what I'm talking about?
No, he was this guy.
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, he's just some dude.
In the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably in the bar scene.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, that's badass. I wanted to know. Good for him. Still working.
Bless his heart.
God bless him.
In a 2016 interview, Casper Van Dien, who played Johnny, as we just mentioned, revealed a funny incident when he was picking up his 2 daughters from school. I went by the line at school to pick up my kids. You know, you drive up to school, and when I get there, and there are these 6, 10, and 8-year-old boys hanging out with my daughters. I pull up in the line, and the boys go, "Johnny Rico, why didn't you tell us your dad was Johnny Rico?" And I said, "What are you boys doing watching Starship Troopers?" Yeah, that definitely is not a movie for children.
No,
I would say so.
no.
And they said our dads made us watch it with. Are those epic dads?
No, probably not great, not perfect parents.
No, are they epic though? I would make my child watch Itchy the Killer.
I'm telling you, my child is going to watch RoboCop before his 9th birthday, or I'm a fucking.
Or I'll spank him.
You can't say that.
Oh yeah, you can.
Anyways,
then my daughter came in the car. My 10-year-old said, "Dad, were you really naked in Starship Troopers?" I said, "Yeah," and she said, "How could you do that to me?" Then my 8-year-old says, "Wait, like naked?" And I said, "Yup." And she said, "Oh my God, my life is ruined." That was the longest 3-minute ride home I've had in my life.
well, what a cute little story.
What a little story.
What a cute little story. Don't let those boys near your kids. Don't let those boys come to your daughters, dude.
Yeah. They're trying to cash in on that Starship Troopers fame. Director Paul Verhoeven and starring Dina Meyer and Casper Van Dien confirmed that Verhoeven and cinematographer Joost Vacano shot the co-ed shower scene in the nude. Oh, you didn't even mention it. You said you had something to say about the scene. We can mention it after this, though.
Okay.
In the nude themselves on a dare from Meyer. On the day of the shoot, Verhoeven had asked the cast to do a little fashion show without fashion so that they could get comfortable being naked. When the cast was reluctant to disrobe, Verhoeven asked them what the big deal was, to which Meyer responded, "Paul, if it's no big deal, why don't you do it?" Quite unexpectedly, Verhoeven got undressed, as well as Vacano, who had been raised in a nudity camp. What the hell? After an initial shock, Van Dien reportedly yelled, "Oh my God, Dina, why?" And a good laugh from the cast. The scene was filmed without problems.
Well, that's cute. You know? Don't, what do they say? You know, I wouldn't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do myself.
Yeah.
So, what? You know, good director.
I would have done it. I would have been like, okay, I'll get naked.
I'll get naked for you, daddy.
But you had something to say about that scene, it being co-ed.
I thought it was interesting about, like, there's certain social things that are kind of implied to be, like, not really an issue anymore.
Yeah. We mentioned it when we were actually watching it. Like,
yeah.
when we were talking
So, I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like, there's no fear of sexual assault or homophobia or and this is divorced from the shower scene, but like racism is not a factor in the movie. Maybe perhaps because they have a common enemy, which is the bugs. Interesting.
But does that maybe that plays a little bit into the propaganda aspect of it?
Yeah,
I would say so. You know, because they make like the military look like this perfect place where nothing like that could ever happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, oh, this all loving place where everyone's safe. A miniature Millennium Falcon can be seen on the backside of one of the Starship's bridges. I did not see that.
That is badass and cool.
Yeah. The year is in the. Okay, we mentioned this because we were wondering. The year is in the. The year in the movie is 2197.
So it's 200 years in the future.
Yeah. So we got some time before we're Starship Troopers. We got some time.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully my grandkids will be forced.
It'll be like your great grandkids.
Well, I'll have kids late, and then my kids will have kids late.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is Paul Verhoeven's favorite movie of his own.
Well, you don't
That's
have
a good choice.
You don't have that many, Paul.
He has enough.
Your fucking bones sound hollow.
Oh. That would bones sound like.
You were knocking on your ankle. Evan was knocking on it. It sounded like a door.
Evan,
he has enough. You mind if I read one?
Yeah, sure.
I love to read. It's like remember in English class, and they'd be like, "Everyone read. Take turns reading."
Yeah, but that was like we were fourth too. It wasn't like
I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
You were one of the weird.
I
kids,
secretly liked it the whole time because I was like, I get to have everyone's attention for a paragraph. Okay. Michael Ironside was Casper Van Dien's mentor on the film as his character mentor and also in real life. That was written
That's the teacher.
As his I think they mean character's mentor.
Oh, I just mean Michael Ironside. He's the actor who plays the teacher.
Right. Behind the scenes and on set. And I still hear his voice and everything when I'm acting to this day. The same goes with Clancy Brown. Both of them, they influenced me more than they know.
Oh, that's touching.
That's pretty badass.
In a 2014 interview with Empire Magazine, director Paul Verhoeven said of the shower scene, "Americans get more upset about nudity than ultraviolence. I'm constantly amazed about that. I mean, I haven't seen any sex scenes in American film that are anything other than completely boring. A bare breast is more difficult to get through the censors than a body riddled with bullets."
Well,
ain't wrong.
He is wrong. Speaking facts.
Yeah, he ain't wrong.
I wonder if you were to make like a I don't know, maybe not John Wick, because John Wick is pretty sanitized. But if you were to make like some gory action movie and you like had a bare tit and you like shot through it, would it be, you know what I mean? Like someone like got shot in directly in the nipple and like the boob exploded or something. Yeah. Would that be easier to get in a movie than like a sex scene where like someone's like really like lustfully groping a breast?
Maybe.
This is the society we live in.
Maybe. Do you want to read the next one?
He is right, though.
He is right. He is right.
He's definitely right. What is he, Paul Verhoeven?
Honestly, I don't even know.
He must be German or something, right?
I think he might be British. Let's see.
Just Verhoeven is a very...
Where is he? No, he's from the Netherlands.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. So,
interesting.
Yeah, there you go. So, what is that? Danish, I think? Is that what they call it?
I don't know.
I think, yeah, you're Danish if you're from the Netherlands. If I'm wrong, I apologize.
That's not for me to say.
You want the next one?
Sure.
It's a little interesting.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris was often called Doogie Himmler whenever he wore the military intelligence uniform, as it bore resemblance to USS to SS uniforms. The name is a joke after Doogie Howser, and a reference to SS leader Heinrich Himmler. Yeah. Who was Hitler's second in command. Did you know that?
Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
I always thought it was silly because their names sound similar. Hitler and Himmler.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the first time I heard about him, I thought the history teacher was like saying Hitler wrong.
Oh.
I was like, excuse you, do you mean Hitler, silly teacher?
You should have said that.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you got owned.
Everyone laughed at me.
Oh, you got owned.
Yeah.
When Rico, Carmen, and Carl meet with the recruiting officer after pledging. That's Rico, Johnny Rico, and then Carmen and Carl are Denise Richards and Neil Patrick Harris meet with the recruiting officer after pledging. And
we never called him Carl once.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying it not for you, for
no. I was just realizing like I didn't even commit his name, his character's name to memory.
Meet with the recruiting officer after pledging. And the officer shakes his prosthetic hand with Rico. The recruiting officer has no legs. Robert David Hall, who plays the recruiting officer, had both legs amputated after a car crash in 1978. 3 years later, Hall appeared in CSI Crime Scene Investigation as the medical examiner Dr. Al Robbins, wearing prosthetic legs using a crutch and walking with a limp.
Oh, good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, I like, it's nice when movies and shows, they incorporate the disability into a character, because you know what, there are people in real life that have disabilities. Not everything has to be, so perfect in your perfect fucking world.
That's true.
You can have actors with disabilities, and it reminds me of Scrubs when they had Michael J. Fox on. It was so fucking weird. They gave him. You remember this? I don't watch Scrubs. We talked about it though long ago. Oh, but they had an episode where they brought Michael J. Fox on, and he had OCD. Oh. And it was like, just give him fucking Parkinson's.
No, I don't have OCD.
In the show.
Maybe he wanted OCD.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe he wanted to be like, I wanted to try and act another disability while having this disability.
No, that's stupid.
I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe that was his logic.
I don't think so. But anyways. Like, give him an acting challenge?
Yeah.
I know what you mean, but...
Maybe he wanted it. He said, I'd do it.
That's stupid. But I might be wrong.
I don't know.
But I went into that...
I was just playing devil's advocate. Okay.
Yeah, sure. But I just assumed... You want me to read this?
This one's interesting. I can read it. I don't
know.
Okay.
I'll read it.
Okay.
Director Paul Verhoeven admits to have never finished the novel, claiming he read through the first few chapters and became both bored and depressed, calling it a very right-wing book in Empire magazine. He then told screenwriters Edward Neumeyer... That was a good try, right?
No, I was laughing about the rest of the...
Oh, you were reading ahead?
Yeah.
It's not very impolite to read ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Edward Neumeyer to tell him the rest. Verhoeven and Neumeyer then decided that while both the novel and its author, Robert A. Heinlein, strongly supported a regime led by a military elite, they would turn the concept around and satirize it, making the film a hyperbole of contemporary American politics and culture. Die-hard Heinlein fans declare that the filmmakers have completely misinterpreted Heinlein's nature and intentions. They say he was a libertarian who opposed conscription and militarism. He depicted the oligarchy by ex-military citizenry government in the book because it was an example of something that has never been done in real life. He was not advocating it, but was merely speculating that such a system could exist without collapsing.
Perhaps.
So you're telling me, Evan, that Paul himself fell victim to the same fallacy as his own audience?
What do you mean by that?
Fascinating.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because upon release, at least as I recall it being told to me, Evan, as it was transcribed to me.
Oh, okay. By who?
I remember hearing, remember when I was like, I was like 14 and I heard about Starship Troopers and that it was like this parody, satire. And from what I remember, it was, a lot of people in the first theater release of it, they thought, this is just a cool Halo movie, and they move on. And then when he first read that book, he thought like, oh, this is like evil propaganda.
Maybe it is so.
But, well, it says it's not. But
because, it said his fan said that. But, you never know. It's like, how like, like
when people say like Jordan B. Peterson.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But I'm not saying the fans are wrong either. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know shit about the book, so I can't really speak on that.
Yeah, this is just an IMDb trivia thing. Yeah. But from what I understand, it seems like they're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah. But I get your point. Yeah. So I don't know. I had to read more about the author and see what was going on with him, I suppose.
Yeah, it's like what's his name? Brian Scott Card or something. He's like homophobic.
Who?
The Ender's Game.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
I don't know. Authors. Authors.
Casper Van Dien really punched Patrick Muldoon, who I think is
the black-haired, other love interest, right?
Yeah, in the face, giving him a bloody lip during the fight scene at the space station. Patrick Muldoon stated in an interview that Casper hits hard. Oh, that's interesting.
It's not nice.
Most of the arachnids appearing on film are CGI, but a few life-size robotic models were built. However, during the battle scenes, the actors wound up looking at director Paul Verhoeven himself, who would stand in front of them and jump and scream at them, even chasing them with a broom to elicit their reactions, attempting to generate some of the fearsomeness of a 12-foot space ant. Clancy Brown affectionately described the director as a nutbag, given to jumping up and down with a bullhorn, going, "I'm a big fucking bug. I'll kill you. I loved him. He was so much fun." That sounds fun.
That's cute.
That's cute.
Yeah, he did sound like a good director, Like, he's not the kind that'll actually, kill you,
Yeah.
Like, he'll actually, blow up stuff without your consent behind you and stuff
John
like that. But, yeah, I don't know what kind of monster would do that, but, yeah, but he gets into it,
He gets into it. He plays fun.
He has a little bit of fun. Play a little bit of pretend. What is filmmaking if not playing a bit of pretend, Evan?
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Besides for hours and hours of work as well.
Of course.
But anyways.
Let's see. Let me see one that's so many people find interesting. I'll read that one. In a 2014 interview, on the Adam Carolla show. I hate Adam Carolla, but
who is he?
He's the one comedian. He has a podcast also similar to
Is he a kind of a skinnier white one or?
I guess. He's like an older guy.
You mind if I Google him real
Yeah.
quick? I want to see what he looks like. Adam Carolla. He's been on Joe Rogan, hasn't he?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
Some of the worst episodes of Joe Rogan are his comedian friends. Oh, I don't know him. But I'm sorry for wasting your freaking time.
Oh, you don't know?
Nah.
Oh. In a 2014 interview on the Adam Carolla show, Michael Ironside, who read the book as a youth, said he asked director Paul Verhoeven, who grew up in the Nazi-occupied Netherlands, "Why are you doing a right-wing fascist movie?" So Michael Ironside, who read the book, had the same interpretation. Verhoeven replied, "If I tell the world that a right-wing fascist way of doing things doesn't work, then no one will listen to me. So I'm going to make a perfect fascist world. Everyone is beautiful, everyone is shiny, everything has big guns and fancy ships, but it's only good for killing fucking bugs." Interesting.
I don't know what to make of that.
It was like, well, I guess, yeah, he just made it, and it's like, just the idea of it when you see it in, like, not in reality, but, like, I guess in reality, like, on film, it's like, it looks very ridiculous, you know what I mean? So.
Oh, wait, okay. I think I kind of get what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because he's, like, because, you know, we were talking about the movie doesn't outright tell you, like, this is a parody.
Yeah.
So he's kind of saying, like,
that's what I mean. So it's like when he shows this.
If I told you outright this was a parody, no one would care.
Yeah.
So I can see what he's saying. It just took me the way it was worded. I was kind of scrambled my brain. Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Since we talked about this, the cow that was killed by the arachnid in the media break commercial was completely digital, but was still censored. A bonus video feature from the DVD showed what occurred behind the censoring bar. An FX tech used a small hose to spray the walls with fake blood. It was shot in cuts. The real cow was placed on his mark for the establishing shot. Then the still shot of the cow was used with computer-generated images for the effect where the bug appeared to eat the cow. So there you go. Kind of going off the last one too. In the director commentary on the Blu-ray DVD, Paul Verhoeven stated showing mutilated bodies on FedNet was to encourage more people to join the Federation. The cow being censored was due to PETA animal supporters, and the experiments on the brain bug were censored as it was classified information. Well, I feel like that's kind of what we were saying. At least as far as the animal thing, it's like, oh, don't show the animal, but like, okay, fine, show the human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and the bug was censored because it was classified.
Because it was
we didn't mention that, but yeah, he sent the bug censored at the end.
I was wondering about that too, like when they stick like a prod in its mouth. But yeah, that's interesting because it's kind of like the reason the humans aren't censored, like it's kind of like what we were saying, like it's beyond empathy. Mm-hmm. It's for a different purpose that they're not censored.
Yeah.
But then the cow like is supposed to be empathetic.
Yeah.
So it's like censored. I don't know. That's interesting.
This was interesting because he mentioned that he was from Argentina in the movie. Casper Van Dien says he was often asked why a blonde-haired, blue-eyed actor played the Argentinian Juan Rico from the book. Maybe Johnny Rico. But yeah, he mentions he's from Buenos Aires. He says that a couple times. He suggested that his character was a descendant of exiled Germans, as Argentina was famously a hiding place for German war criminals. You know, the conspiracy that Hitler was hiding in Argentina.
Well, it's also, that's true. Not the Hitler.
I was like the Hitler.
Not the Hitler thing, but like a lot.
No, I'm just talking about Hitler specifically. But yeah, I know a bunch of them when hit.
That is real, yeah.
Juan was renamed Johnny, and his family and friends all look like North Americans who speak English instead of Spanish. It seemed more likely that in the movie the Federation encompasses both North and South America, and that families from North America who could afford to have it all relocated to tropical areas like Argentina. That makes sense. Like I said, you don't really get too much. We mentioned this about like the in-universe.
There's not going on. Domestic politics aren't really like a factor. But I honestly, the idea that these are like the descendants of Nazis, like still living in Argentina, that's interesting to me. Yeah, that's more interesting to me than like rich people moving down there.
I agree.
Anyways,
I agree. Do you want to get into spoiler trivia?
Yeah.
This actually has a lot of trivia.
Yeah.
So.
Wait, stop randomly. Stop randomly. Nah, that sucks.
Here, I'll do it again. Okay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just go to the spoiler ones. These kind of suck now. Yeah, for some reason, like, maybe, like, editors on IMDb want a bunch of credits, like, on Starship Troopers or something.
I don't know. God bless you.
Thank you.
To avoid an NC-17 rating, 4 seconds had to be trimmed from a decapitation during the last battle at the Whiskey Outpost base. However, the 4 seconds can be seen in the version on the FX network.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So the TV version has the more gory one. I wonder, did we see the version with like?
No, because when it starts, it says rated R. So.
I guess.
Yeah, so we got like the standard version.
Because there's a pretty good amount of decapitation going on at the end there, you know, because you see a few of them, and then the general that like they saved is like grabs his neck and he's like, oh no.
Yeah.
You know, so. I can only.
Whatever
imagine.
they thought was too graphic.
I can only imagine.
For whatever reason.
Body count is 256. That seems low. That feels low.
That's less than Hardboiled. That was in the 300s.
Oh really?
Yeah. Several scenes were filmed following Carmen coming to grips with the supposed death of Johnny Rico while starting a relationship with Xander. However, Tess' audience started to hate her character for hooking up with another man so soon after the death of her former lover, and were very vocal about it. The scenes were subsequently deleted, although a relationship between Carmen and Xander is still implied in the rest of the movie. So that kind of, we were talking about that a little bit. It's like,
I think it works better that way, to be honest, because it like, and we said this earlier, like I think that would demonize her a little bit.
Mm, yeah,
and it would make her, you know,
evil.
Yeah, and you don't want that. You don't want that.
Oh, but is it real though? We did mention the realness of the drama. You don't want a little bit of reality? You don't want more reality sprinkled in your drama, Dylan?
I don't know if that would be more real. I don't know.
Maybe, maybe not.
Who knows?
Several references are made to World War II Medal of Honor recipient Roger Wilton Young. Suffering a head injury in high school, he lost much of his eyesight and hearing, resulting in his leaving school. Knowing he could not pass the Army physical, he joined the National Guard. He was promoted and deployed to the Pacific. Due to his handicap, he requested demotion so he could go into combat with his men. Oh, that's like... Yeah.
The Clancy Brown character.
In the film, Career Sergeant Zim makes a similar request when Buenos Aires is destroyed. His wish is also granted. Also, during World War II, Young gave his life in combat by single-handedly bombarding a Japanese machine gun position with rifle fire and grenades during an ambush, allowing his platoon to escape. Or rescuing Carmen from the brain bug, Sugar Watkins gives his life in an almost identical fashion by laying down rifle fire and detonating the nuke so his friends can escape. The starship that Carmen is assigned is also named the Roger Young. Starship Troopers author Robert A. Heinlein included Young's Medal of Honor citation in the book. So there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like the poster boy for like a good soldier.
Yeah.
You know? Used for various purposes.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. During the scene where Michael Ironside's character falls into the hole and gets his legs bitten off, Dina Meyer hit her head and was knocked unconscious and suffered a concussion.
Oh, that poor beautiful girl.
Yeah, that sucks. Do you want to do the next one?
Sure. Test audience reactions led to several minor changes before the film was released. Originally, it was clear that Carmen was torn between Rico and Xander. Test audiences, well, I get Rico. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Johnny Rico.
Test audiences, regardless of gender, strongly felt that a woman could not love two men at once. So scenes, we know that's not true.
Yeah.
We both know that's not true.
Just for people in general, I don't think that's
That's cat. But that just for reference, so I don't seem sexist. That's not why I don't think it would play. But I think that would make you not like her.
Yeah, of course.
Even further, because like she's the reason he gets into the army in the first place, and then she breaks up with him, and she like ruins his whole life. So then for her further to like...
No, he made his life great. He loves the army.
Well, he does love the army, but you know what I mean though, like and then for her it to seem like maybe him like the other man played a part in that.
Yeah.
It just makes her look bad.
Yeah.
These audiences also felt it was immoral for Carmen to choose a career ahead of being loyal to Rico, to the extent
high
that
school boys.
to the extent that well, I feel like that plays a part in like the movie. Maybe the satire was lost on the test audiences,
perhaps,
which I think it often is.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether the movie's
test audiences
full on
are
satire
sheep.
or not. They're fucking sheep. They don't know what they want. They want John Woo to blow up a fucking hospital 100%. That's what they should want. But yeah, fucking it was immoral for Carmen to choose a career ahead of being loyal to Rico, to the extent that many commented that in so doing, Carmen should have been the one to die instead of Dizzy. While admitting it may have been a bad commercial decision not to change the film to accommodate this, the directors did cut a scene from after Xander's death where Carmen and Rico kiss, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, but it's less like, I mean, like, I definitely didn't think, like, she dare have a job over that fucking man. I mean, like...
Yeah.
Yeah. I eat boys like you for breakfast. You ever heard that song?
No.
The way you said yeah sounded like the intro.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For the scene where Dizzy gets killed by a warrior bug, Dina Meyer argued with director Paul Verhoeven on her character screaming after getting stabbed and when Rico pulls out the arachnid claws from her chest, as there was no air in her chest for her to emit such a scream, as she wanted it to be authentic. But Verhoeven's only response to her was simply to just scream. Well, I agree with Paul. In that instance, it's like, really?
Yeah, it's like, dude, like...
No one is thinking about that.
I wasn't.
Yeah, I wasn't.
But, like...
She was.
I mean, it's probably because, yeah, you have to lay down and do that scene like 30 times in one day. So she probably is thinking about that kind of stuff. But the way it plays in the movie, I think it plays fine.
Yeah.
And also the movie's not like... It's not like a realistic movie, so...
Correct.
If the rest of the movie is good around it, stuff like that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it makes for a nice dramatic little moment.
I agree. Oh, certainly I agree with that.
Nice.
During live training, Jana D, I don't know who that is, shoots and kills... Oh, okay. During live training, yeah, it's the girl who kills that guy by accident.
Right.
Shoots and kills Breckenridge accidentally, resulting in Rico's flogging. In real life, the two actors are together and have a child. They met on this film. That's
cool.
Interesting. You married the person who killed you in the movie.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Blew your fucking brain out?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, you know what? I'm happy for them.
If you told me that, like, Adam Sandler, Big Daddy style, like, two characters, like, got together and got married off of this movie, I would not have guessed them. But good for them.
Are you happy for them?
Oh, yeah, I'm very happy.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
In the shower scene, Shujimi says that he joined the mobile infantry so the Federation would pay for his Harvard tuition studies, which would otherwise have cost him an arm and a leg, which foreshadows his death as he gets his leg cut off and then torn to pieces by warrior bugs.
I don't know if that's quite foreshadowing, but sure.
Sure. He paid his arm and a leg.
Well, not really.
And he didn't get to go to Harvard.
But, well, I mean, according to this, his leg gets cut off and then that's it.
Yeah, the rest of him. Well, I don't know. I was just making a joke.
Well, I'm critiquing not you, but the IMDb page.
Of course.
Saying.
Besides Rico, Ace's Jake Busey's character. Ace is the only one of Rico's squad mates from boot camp to survive the entire movie from Klendathu to Planet P, which is interesting because you were saying, oh, you thought he would die.
He's the only one where I looked at him in one scene, I was like, oh, he's about to die.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that doesn't die. Yeah.
When Carmen vomits during the dissection scene, this one they're like in high school. For the audience, they're like dissecting bugs.
Right.
When Rico hands her all of the bugs' organs, Denise Richards was actually vomiting up mashed bananas.
That's nasty.
That's fun.
This is a long one.
That's a long one. Do you want to skip it?
Oh, this is actually kind of interesting, though.
Oh, okay. Okay. You got it.
Differences between... let's skim it. We'll skim it, okay?
Yeah.
Differences between the novel and the movie. Dizzy is a man.
Well, you know, the novel was the model for the film.
Well, that's clearly what I meant.
So there you go.
That's clearly what I meant.
Yeah.
Johnny Rico is Filipino. Carl, Neil Patrick Harris, is killed in a bug raid on a research station.
Ooh.
Gene Razek is
The
a combination
teacher.
of two characters. John DeBoy. Okay, well, that's a little too inside baseball for me. Carmen wasn't Johnny Rico's girlfriend. She was everyone's friend. After joining up, they meet when he's a third lieutenant on it. Well, okay. So basically, the book is more long and complicated.
Precisely.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we need from that.
Rico's career in the mobile infantry looks something like this: cadet squad leader, washout, cadet, private, corporal, acting sergeant, corporal, lieutenant. As we mentioned, he just switched ranks.
He jumps over quite a bit.
Yeah.
Jumps around quite a bit. So I guess private isn't the lowest. Because we were mentioning that.
Yeah,
I guess it's
cadet.
not. So I guess it's cadet, and then private, and then corporal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Dialogue changes in the German version when Mr. Razik is talking about the failure of democracy and how the veteran took control. Only citizens are allowed to vote. In the German version, all this is changed about some talking about the war against the bugs. Democracy is not mentioned. Service guarantees citizenship and changed to fight for the future. Also, during the classroom scene when Mr. Razak is talking about the violence, he says, "I wonder what the city fathers of Hiroshima would say about that." And Carmen replies, "They probably wouldn't say anything. Hiroshima was destroyed." This scene was removed from the Japanese version. In the German version, Mr. Razak says, "I wonder what the citizens of Washington would say about that." And Carmen replies, "They probably wouldn't say anything. Washington was destroyed during the first bug war." Well, that's lame.
I mean, if they said they probably wouldn't say anything, Washington was destroyed, that'd be way cooler. But adding during the first bug war, that's fucking stupid. Because we can imply, because of the movie, that, like, yeah, it was probably bugs. Like, you can assume that.
Yeah. I agree.
Some of these are long.
Yeah, there's a lot of trivia.
Yeah, people really wanted to have their name on the IMDb for Starship Troopers.
There's a lot. We'll read the last one. You want it done?
In the movie, well, this one sucks. Let's see if there's, like, one random one that has, like, a good rating. The film features the first co-ed shower scene in mainstream American movie. In a mainstream American movie, one had been scripted for Aliens, but the actresses involved weren't too enthusiastic about it, and the scene was not deemed important enough. Director Paul Verhoeven had intended to show one in RoboCop, which is weird, but timing and pacing issues prevented this. He finally succeeded in getting one on the screen 10 years later. He really wanted that.
Congratulations, Paul.
RoboCop would not, like... Why would that be in there, Paul?
I guess with the police or something. I don't know.
Do they have, like, a co-ed shower in police places?
Yeah. He's from the Netherlands. You know, they don't give a fuck about shit like that over there.
Yeah, I guess so. But it said he really wanted it.
He wanted that.
It said he really wanted it.
He wanted to break the stigma.
Rico's career in the mobile industry. We already read that. Okay. Okay, this is interesting, but this is way too long. Right? Yeah, that's way too long. And only 9 out of 9. This dude wrote fucking, like, 4 paragraphs. And it was rated, like, 9 out of 19. Found it interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that's it. I think that about does it. Yeah, I don't know if you want to try and find another one.
I'm ready to wrap it up.
All right. I'm ready to wrap it up, too.
2 hours.
Evan, what would you rate Starship Troopers?
I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it.
8 out of 10. I would give this movie a 2 out of 3 stars.
Nice.
I am rounding it down a bit, you know, but that's okay. That's all right.
That's okay. 2 out of 3. Good.
2 out of 3 is still good.
Yeah.
Still good. I definitely will never rewatch it.
Oh. Okay.
So, there you go.
Yeah. I'll rewatch it. I liked it. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Well, I'd maybe rewatch it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Because the girls are so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my word.
That was reason enough.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
And I had a wonderful time with you, Evan. We
Thank
came
you.
over and we didn't even mention your 4K. Evan recently purchased a 4K
Oh, yeah.
of Starship Troopers. We watched it on his beautiful, illustrious, expensive 4K TV. And I had a wonderful time. I had a little bit of a snack as well.
Mm.
You had a little bit of a snack.
Did I?
Well, after.
Oh, after.
Yeah.
Not during.
And it was a great time.
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
As always.
Well, thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you so much for listening. We can't thank you enough. If you did enjoy our breakdown of the movie, please leave a like.
Leave a like.
Please leave
a
like.
comment.
And I'm gonna pick a wacky fucking episode next week. So just
Norbit.
don't you fucking wait. No, you can pick that if you want.
Nutty Professor.
I picked the Rich Alvarez Stupid Mario.
You chose Nutty Professor.
You choose Nutty. I choose. It really is it's one of life's greatest questions. Norbit or the Nutty Professor? Which one?
Norbit.
It's really tough.
Norbit's a classic.
Or Flubber.
Flubber. Robin Williams Flubber.
What about Flubber? But yeah, seriously, thank you for watching, and
of course.
stay tuned for next week. I really want to pick a crazy good episode for you.
Yeah.
Crazy good movie.
Mm.
So yeah, bye. Go away.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Goodbye.
Yeah, fuck off.